YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We have a box to open right here. It's gonna be amazing. You guys have certainly already figured out from the thumbnail, but we're gonna go ahead and cut it open right now without further ado. So we know what this is, unlike some other times, and we have done similar planes. So we are excited to be bringing you this. Oh my goodness, it's the Viper V2 FMS 15th Anniversary Edition. So this is gonna be amazing, and we're doing it right now. Got a little damage on our box, as you can see, so hopefully that doesn't translate to damage to the plane, but we're gonna find out and share it with you in mere seconds. That didn't work very good. Okay, so let's look at the box real quick. As you can see, it's this kind that is
open.
Yep, that type. Okay, so this is a 15th anniversary. 70 millimeter Viper V2.
1100 millimeter wingspan.
1100 millimeter. This comes in a plug and play. So it should be like what we're used to getting from FMS. Let's see how it turns out. I am excited for the livery. It looks different than what we've seen on Viper jets in the past. So we're gonna see how this one works. Just lay this off to the side. Oh, features. Wingspan 1100 millimeters. Looks like the motor size is a 3060 kV. It's a 1900 kV. 80 amps, 9 gram Metal Gear digital servos times 8 metal digital servos. Sweet. EDF is 70 millimeters, and it's a 6S 3300 rated at 35C. That's kind of a weird size.
Yeah.
Not 3300, but just the 35C will be a little bit weird for us. We have 6S, but I don't know if we have 3300 and a 50C.
We'll go to a 50C.
Okay, so let's pop this thing out of the box. Before I forget what's in here, there's might be something in here. I want to make sure. Why is that there? Oh, because there is stuff under it.
Nope.
Linkages, okay.
Nice.
So we'll put that there. What? They're not
Put them
installed.
all on.
What the heck?
I quit.
That is ridiculous. Look, there's no reason they shouldn't be installed.
Yeah.
Why are they not installed?
That's weird.
Okay, well, anyway, as you can see, different colors here. We've got the gray and the yellow. The yellow should pop nicely in the sky, although the plain gray on the bottom is gonna disappear. Love this spring-loaded oleos. They are softer tires. I don't know if they're softer enough, but we'll lay that down for now. Very disappointed we have to put those control linkages on. Not the end of the world, but still very annoying. Yep, not on these either.
That's weird.
Okay, pinch hinge design here. Looks pretty straightforward. Blue, navy blue, and highlights. Okay. What is this servo? Let's see what it says. FMS. 4.8 through 6 volts DC. 2.2 to 2.5 kilograms of force per centimeter. Okay. So we'll lay that down. Ugh. Hold on a second. I'll show you this first. Okay, we have the 15th anniversary, which looks like it should be a 7. I noticed that on the box too. Pinch hinge. Plastic all up front.
Nice.
See, it's wrapped around the leading edge, so that's good. That's a place that's get marred up usually. Okay. This is what I was ughing about.
Oh.
Whoever decided to put this in there folded should be fired from FMS. Just open it up and lay it on top like that.
I thought it was something else we were going to assemble.
No, it's folding. Folding manuals drives me crazy. Why do they do that? Goodness gracious. Okay. And then there's this, which link rod. Make sure the servos are in neutral position. Attach the elevator rudder servos to those corresponding holes. Good Lord, that is so dumb. FMS, bad idea.
What? Oh, just making us install them?
Yeah, why?
Yeah, I know.
Put them in yourself.
Yeah.
I don't want to build this plane.
I
Okay.
agree.
So then we have the canopy, looks good. A little bit of scratch here. Instrument clusters, nice looking pilot. Nice looking simulated seat. So that's not bad. I kind of wish they would have painted that part black. I think it would have looked cool. It would have been a neat touch. But otherwise, really clean cut work here. Looks like they cut it. They masked this one off kind of sloppy though, unfortunately. And then I'm not sure why we have a scratch there, but there's a scratch in the plastic. Otherwise, no big deal. We've seen worse on canopies. This one doesn't have like tons of mold release on it, so that's nice. And they were saying something about clip in. Oh yeah, clip in style rather than magnet. I don't know. I think the last one we had was a clip in too. So we're just gonna keep going. You know, when the planes start getting good, you have to get critical about some of the things that were not an issue before.
Ooh, cool.
Beautiful.
Oh, nice.
Huge inlets. The Viper, as you know, hard plastic here, painted exactly the same color, so no mismatch there. Looks like they touched this one up maybe, because you can see where they touched up the paint there. Ooh. Oh, be careful you don't squish in that too much. Ooh, spring-loaded oleo on the nose gear. Super excited for that. 80 amp Predator ESC, and there is a yellow wire on that, so we may have to investigate. I can't see it very good here. Looks like a split elevator, rudder, ESC, warning, unnecessary warning. Ooh, no, did it fall through?
No.
Oh, thank goodness we caught that. Yeah, check that, guys. That'd not be good. I'm trying to look for one thing and I'm not seeing it. Throttle.
I don't see it either.
I don't see the yellow wire. Dang it, I was hoping there'd be one yellow wire, but there's not. Okay, so the elevator and rudder extension cords were about to slip out, so I wanted to make sure to catch those. Our tape was just on the last little bit, so we'll go ahead and take that out. No big deal, but it would be if you forgot and you had to drag all your wires through. It's kind of a tedious thing. Okay, so this build should be pretty easy other than the fact that we have to put on every single control linkage. Now, I have a stinky suspicion I know why our control linkages are not installed. Do you have any guesses, camera crew?
What, rain?
No, on the table.
Oh, really?
I think so. Put your guesses in the comments below. But all I can say is, and if you don't know the context, don't worry, you'll eventually figure it out. All I'm gonna say is I don't wanna put those things in unless it doesn't fit in the package. If it doesn't fit in the package, that's a free pass on my end.
Would there have been some reason they would have like changed which kind of
it's possible that they had a vendor that changed something at the last second and they couldn't get it through manufacturing in time, I suppose. But I don't like to make excuses for the manufacturers. I just want to tell you what I think about it. And sometimes that's fair, sometimes that's not fair. Nothing on the bottom.
Nope.
Okay, folded manual is my biggest complaint so far, and the fact that I have to install. Actually, it's equally folded manual, and secondly, linkages have to be installed.
Oh, really? Okay.
What?
I like.
You think it's the linkages way worse?
I don't actually mind putting linkages on that much. I hate when we have to like actually put all of the like control horns.
Oh yeah, the control horns
That's
are
way
worse. That is true. You make a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's
a bunch on this.
There's a lot on this plane. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the wing, 5, 6, 7 to put on.
Yeah.
So again, this is not an ARF. It's not meant to be something you have to build. You just kind of assemble it out of necessity. And so for us, we like to get in the air like super fast because we love flying and we love less the aspect of building everything else. And so that brings us to our next part, which is where we're gonna build. But let's talk about batteries for a minute. We'll just lay these out of the way. We've got a bunch of 6S batteries, 3300. Okay, let's see if we got a 3300. Where's the 3300? There's a 3200. I think we're probably gonna have to go up to 4S. And you know why? So we can get the 50C.
Yeah.
So maybe then fire on. Oh, here's a 50C 3200.
That's a 4S.
Ah, 4S, yep.
And you meant 4000, not 4S.
4000. We're gonna go 4000, 6S, 50C, plug in my smart battery. That's a Gen 1, which might serve our interest. And then a Gen 2, that's a 50C, but this one's had better days. So we'll go ahead and just get that one ready anyway and see what we got going on. Obviously, we're gonna use the NX10 like we usually use. Or at least of late, because we just kind of switched over from the NX8 because we had run out of channels. Now on this plane, I don't think we're gonna have any problems because this plane is gonna have elevator, rudder, throttle, retracts.
Ailerons.
I already did that, didn't I? Flaps, elevator, rudder, steerable, okay? Which some people split, by the way. So you can get more finite control on the ground and stuff like that. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it should be 6 channels because that's retracts. But then we're gonna have mode.
Yeah.
So mode can be fixed if you wanna use the 6-channel receiver, but if you wanna be able to turn the mode on and off, what I mean by mode is there even a reflex in this?
That's what I was just gonna ask you because it's not on the box.
What? There's no reflex.
Real?
There is no reflex.
Yeah, it didn't say it on the box. So I meant
no
to
reflex. Okay, so I don't know if that's just because they like rushed one out to us or if they're like not selling them with reflexes, which is bizarre to me. So guys, we like stabilization. We like auto leveling for beginners. We don't use auto leveling, but we like to show how it's set up. So if this thing doesn't come with reflex, then we're going to be using probably a 630, wouldn't you think? Because there's no reason we would go with anything else because our mode is carried by channel 7 and channel 8 for master gains.
Yep.
So yeah, so we'll just do that. I don't see reflex in there. Woo! Flashlight has a magnet on it.
Does a 630 have safe an AS3X? Why am I like
630 and a 631 both have a 620.
That's right.
The 620 is what we would normally put in an FMS model that has reflex. Now the reason we don't do that is because sometimes you have retracts and you want to also have the mode.
Yep.
Well, in this case, if we go with the 630 or 631, the difference is the 630 is end pin, okay? The 631 is top pin. So it doesn't matter to me in that regard necessarily, although on these jets, they get full really quick. So maybe it would be better to go with, I mean, I don't know if you remember the e-flite version of the Viper. Man, it's a masterpiece of wiring just to get that thing through. I would say 630 is probably the way to go.
We might have to put a battery in it and think about it when we get to that point. To see what pin.
Well, the other thing is that's nice about the 630 is you can put them in any orientation. Whereas the 620, if you got a reflex, the reflex is going to be glued in for you. And also there's kind of a relief here. I wonder if we have enough material to depend on that for our reflex, or excuse me, not our reflex, but our receiver.
Yeah.
I'm going to get scissors. We're going to cut off that safety warning. Those safety warnings, I know they kind of have to put them on there, but like really, I mean, what's long enough that you can stick in here and chop up?
It'll be pretty long.
I mean, it's got to be like 7 or 8 feet.
Well, the other thing is, aside from your length issue, a 631 has the external antenna.
Yeah,
and
the external antenna. It's only $5 difference in price.
I know, but if a 630
I know,
fits
it's one less thing.
There, yeah.
So you got one less thing that's in your way.
There's like, hopefully the battery.
Well, you know what? Here's the other thing I'm thinking about, Camera Crew. I'm thinking about 5,000 because like, why do I want to use a 5050C? Let's just get right down to it. I want to fly this thing on 5050C, okay? I don't want to mess around. Why am I using 4,000? 4,000 have been our worst packs. Of all the packs we have, we've had the most problems with 4,000s. And it's not because of the 4,000 chemistry, I don't think. I think it has to do with the match with planes. What did we fly on 4,000? 6S. One of our first 6S jets. 80 millimeter F-18.
F-18.
Which is a battery chewer.
Yep.
And here's why it was a battery chewer. Because it was a 4,000 and you need like a 7,000 in there. But the body of that plane did not allow for such a huge battery. Okay, so we're gonna pause and get a receiver. Okay, so we were talking about the choices. So we got the 637T, not TA. TA comes in bind and fly planes from Horizon, from Spectrum equipped planes. That's gonna give us our voltage pack, okay? Now, if you were to use an Avian ESC, you could use either of these two, okay? 630 antenna internal, 631 antenna external. About $5 difference in price more for the external, better for range, even though they claim they're the same. I don't buy it, okay? This one here would be more compact. Now remember, with these things, you can mount them upside down, backward, left, right, it doesn't matter. Same thing with this, but you've got now diversity antennas to deal with, and diversity antennas meaning 2 of them, okay? And you're gonna have this goofy wire going through. The Camera Crew was just griping, why do you want to waste the 637T on this plane compared to just a 630? Now here's why you would do that, okay? 637T is gonna give you telemetry. You don't have full range telemetry on a 630. You have flyby telemetry on a 630 versus a 631. That's part of the reason why these are cheaper, because the diplex is smaller. These are both these are not just transmitters, they're transceivers. These are transceivers. We call them transmitters, or excuse me, we call them receivers, but these are actually receivers and transmitters. That's true of any receiver that has telemetry, just so you guys know, okay? You could do any of them, but there's a considerable price difference when you go to the 637T. So this might be a perfect candidate for one that's got, because you don't need a barometer to run this plane, and you're paying a lot of premium for a barometer here when you could get these two for like, I don't know, like 40, and 50 bucks less.
The 637 is a bigger cabinet, and you might not have lots of space.
Nope, the 637 is virtually the exact same size cabinet as the 630. Look.
Okay.
It's the same size cabinet, guys. The only difference is the dual antennas and additional plug. So the additional plug for the telemetry comes in the top, so you don't have an issue. But you do have the benefit of the end pins, okay? So we always think through these things not to confuse the heck out of you. If you're new to the hobby, this is what we do on Brian Phillips RC. We show you the no BS. We show the truth and nothing but the truth, so help us God. Because at the end of the day, we answer to you and not to the manufacturers that make these things, and annoyingly don't put the linkages on. That is not cool. There is no reason why those linkages should not be installed. And they're probably like, well, Brian, then why did you show us crashing a plane because of it? I don't know. Test them.
You didn't know?
I don't know.
We know what's gonna happen.
So this is what we're gonna probably use, right? Agreed?
Okay, there's no BS, but we waffle a lot.
Well, there's waffling. We do like waffling. And here's the thing. I think this one's gonna fit better with the end pins, because then we can squish stuff in here. Because look the way this hooks. Okay, let's talk about this for just a sec. I want to be able to get the battery back as far as people.
That's why we got the battery.
That's right. So let's stuff this in, clip it down.
Okay.
Look how nice that is. Now watch what happens when I pop this out. Watch this. I'm gonna just pop it out. Just slip it out the side. Then you can do what you need to do. By the time we get that all wired up, we stick it up there. Guess what?
Perfect.
You can still manipulate the key.
Still get to the button.
The special spot. You can still get to the spot, and it's about where the center of gravity is.
Yeah.
What do the
right.
what do the Petronik brothers call that?
I don't know. What do they call it?
They call it the G spot.
Oh.
So there's G spot. Just reach right in and do it. Seems about right.
All right.
So there you go, guys. So we're gonna put this right on the center of gravity, and then we'll be able to get to the bind button, which is nice. But then also, you know, suppose you need to work on it. You want to be able to get it out of there. No big deal. You just sit there and you just rip it out with the glue, or better yet, use a piece of double-sided tape and you just sacrificially pull it off. Or even better, you take part of the Velcro that they have attached here, and you use that Velcro that's not even attached hardly right there, and you just cut that sucker right up right there, and you can use that right there and stick it in the hole.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
I think you should put that 5,000 in and see if we're even like.
I agree.
I'm just worried.
This strap is gonna be. It's a good quality strap though. See this? This is a good kind.
Yeah, it is.
This one's like the mid to upper type, and it doesn't stretch, and it's not crappy. Okay, so I do appreciate that very much. Thank you, FMS.
Doesn't look like a very big strap though.
You and your size needs. Let's stick this in here.
I just don't think it's gonna fit.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's totally fine.
That's good enough.
Perfect.
Well, okay, so if you want pilot to be ejected, then you can do that. Truth is, you're not doing that.
No.
Dang it. Okay,
I'm not sure you could take enough out of that.
Hold on. Don't get too excited, folks. Oh. Don't get too excited. We might be able to go this way. Look at it. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's a little bit of a wide grab. Okay, so again, I don't really think that's gonna work very good.
Really? I don't think you're
I don't know if I think that's the appropriate way to do that. It's
kind of a bulge.
Kind of a bulge.
not in the right place.
Well, in that case, the bulge. We could also take material off here. It feels like we got some strength.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's stiff though. I don't know. Okay, so we've answered our question. The 5,000 is out.
Okay.
Dang it! Unless we go down to a 30C and I mean, the 50C is wide, admittedly. So if you go from a 50C down to a 30C in the Smart Pack, guys, let's just do our consideration right now. That's the other reason I don't like Velcro. You see how they're all tipping over? Okay, the 30C is considerably thinner.
It is a little bit.
I do feel like this one might work. Don't you? Let's try.
Still seems like a bit of a squeeze.
Listen, a tight squeeze is not a problem. A not fit is a problem. That does fit. And by the way, after you puff the heck out of that pack, it might not fit so good. But let's just try this.
I think you're gonna have to be below that.
I think so too.
For your canopy.
I think so too. I think so too. Okay, so check this out. Stuff this in. Cannot believe they made us put those things on.
This is. This is why jets are tricky.
Tricky. Stick it in the hole.
Shove that anywhere.
Yep, just shove it anywhere you want. Any opening you can find.
Ooh.
Not that one. Oh God.
Oh, that's.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not gonna probably go unless you modify it. And let's look about this. If we did want to modify that, you know, there is a heck of a lot of material there. Is there a reason we don't just cut that out? Is it gonna make it, this is plastic. That's plastic. We got plenty of purchase there. I don't know, camera crew. I don't know.
Wait, that's a 5,000, just
30C.
a 30C.
They want 35C.
Can we just see if a 4,000 fits and actually goes without having to do massive surgery?
Watch this. Watch this. I have another amazing idea, okay? What if we just stuck this thing the wrong dang way? Now the CG is gonna be way off.
Maybe, probably.
But that's fine. We can always work through that.
Can you hold that?
Yeah, hold my thing. Hold my thing out of the way. I'm glad we're doing this now instead of later, because that would suck later. Yeah, or it might, no. Ooh.
Oh, it goes like under that little lip right there.
Dang it, if I could just get this, let go of it, let go of it, let go of it, thank you. And then I can slide it down like this. Oh, for God's sake.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ramming it in there.
Yeah.
You told me to ram it in.
I didn't say that hard.
Well, got the job done. I'm just gonna simulate plugging this in.
Yeah.
So it's flat, okay? Let's see how this goes, guys. Ooh, look. Nah, no.
Nope.
No. Goodness gracious, did they like forget there was gonna be a battery in here?
Wires coming out that side if you care.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I think they forgot there was gonna be a battery in this model. They were like, oh shoot.
It's not like a hand launch glider.
There's the gear. There's the rudder.
Make sure you don't jank those through back there.
No, I know, I'm just, you know, the other thing too is, let's think about this out loud. By the time we get all this stuff, we're gonna have our receiver up there, so that's gonna be out of the way.
Okay.
So we're good there. But then let's say that we do that. I just don't understand how the heck. Okay, changing gears. This is what happens when you build a plane. If you're new to the hobby, you haven't experienced it, or you're coming back to the hobby, you're at the right place. Brian Phillips RC. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button and the like button and the bell button when they ask you if you want notified about new content. That's what we do. We bring you up to speed on how you can ram it in to all the holes without getting in trouble.
How you two can waffle.
Yes, how much we can waffle. All right, we're gonna build this thing now that we have at least a rough idea of where the receiver is gonna go, what we're gonna use for a receiver, and how we're gonna install it. We will next show you how to assemble the model. Okay, so that's what we do, unbox, build, radio setup, and that's what we do on Brian Phillips RC. So if you're curious about more content, we have thousands of videos waiting for you to watch right now. But in the meantime, we are gonna cut this. Actually, we might need to use a knife for that, because I feel like that Velcro is a perfect fit for holding our receiver.
Yeah,
in.
you're gonna cut that little chunk off?
Yeah, I'm gonna cut that little chunk. I'm just gonna use not exact. I'll use a utility knife, box cutter. Okay. Because this isn't even really held to anything until about here. I'm just gonna try to cut this. I don't know if that's gonna work, but we'll try it. We'll give it a good college try. Okay. Special shout out to the Petronic brothers today, since I brought them up in a very positive way.
Of course.
You like their stuff. They always give me a good chuckle. Kind of reminds me of the way it would be if I filmed with my brother. Lots of bickering. It's hilarious. But since I work with my wife, there's none of that.
Never
bicker.
No.
Ever have disagreements, because we've been married for just a few minutes. Okay, so we're gonna stick this on here. Perfect. That looks really crappy.
Not janky at all.
That's totally jaked. But that'll work fine. And we could take a lighter and melt
clean
that.
It up,
yeah, clean it up a little bit. Which actually, now that it's out, might not be a bad idea to just take this thing and just trim the edge. Get all those little short black curlies trimmed up. Because, you know, who wants a short back curly to surprise them?
Just remember that you were the one that cut adhesive with those scissors.
Oh, so when I complain about
in 3 minutes,
what kid screwed up my scissors?
But that was you.
Can't believe you don't love me. All right, so that's that. Now we got to do this stuff, but we're gonna do it later. You know, it is a little bit tempting.
It is kind of nice
to just do because like, you know, I've got.
I would really prefer to be hunched over in a super uncomfortable position.
It is actually
like
terrible. It is actually terrible. The trouble is I don't know where I'm plugging stuff in.
Okay, fine. Let's just put it together.
Okay, so we'll put it together first. We'll put it together first, and then we'll do this. So assembly is going to be pretty easy on this build, with the exception of all the control horns. So now we need to, and then we also have to center all that crap.
Oh, well, but we'll get it wired up and turned on first, right? And then do control horns last, like we always do.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so the first piece is elevator, then rudder.
Okay.
How do I know that? Because I built these things before, not this exact one, but boop, see that's gonna go in there? Pretty amazing. All right, so 2 elevator plugs. As you can see, it's raining out. It's a beautiful rainy spring day in central Iowa. For those of you who don't know where central Iowa is, it's in the middle of Iowa.
Which is in the middle of the country, not Idaho or Ohio.
Yeah, we don't grow any potatoes here. It's just corn and soybeans. All right, so it doesn't matter which one goes to which, brown to brown, yellow to yellow. And if you get one that's red, white, and black, then it'll be the darker color to the darker and the lightest color to the lightest. Red should be in the middle. Red is your plus voltage. Your darker color is your ground or your reference. And then the signal is the light color. These labels are nice, and they help you to distinguish between the different plugs, but they do sometimes annoy me when I'm doing my assemblies. Okay, so now the rudder is gonna plug in up front, but I wanna kind of get this down and manipulate it into position without pulling those out first. Okay? So notice there's no glue, which is kind of nice. China glue. No China glue. Okay, there's that. And then we have screws in this sack.
Screws.
Grab your nut and bolt sack. Open it up, just like so. Oh yeah. Got all these millions of linkages. Okay, and then, double.
They wanted your sack to be very safe.
Listen, if I ever need you to secure my sack, you better not secure it with a stapler. Just saying, sheesh. Okay, here we go. So they're all exactly the same. Good call.
That is nice.
Way to go. I still don't forgive the control horns yet. Oh wait, these don't go in from this one. They go in from the top. These 2 go in. How do you know that, Brian?
Wait. Oh yeah, okay.
Because I'm using past experience to tell me that the 2 in the back go in, and then there's nowhere for the head to catch there. So it's gonna be received up at the top here, okay? So I believe that's a 2mm. Whoa, just bounce anywhere you want.
Should be.
We're gonna use this one because I have it in my hand already. We have one inside this kit that's even nicer, easier to use. Not nicer, just easier.
Was that one in well?
This one.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was super easy. We built, the last plane we built, we had a heck of a time getting those screws started.
We do have some weird screws.
And I can't remember which plane it was. Oh, I do know. It was the twin.
Oh.
Yep. Oh, wait, was that the one we had problems with though? I can't remember. Just getting the screws in. Ended up working out fine once we got past that huge problem. Okay, so you guys see this? Now I'm gonna grab where the elevator Y cable comes out the front. I'm just gonna real carefully just guide that through so it can go in and out of the way, and just keeping in mind that when this screw goes through, there's gonna be a nut zert on the other side of this plastic that receives the screw, and it may protrude out the bottom, so make sure it doesn't protrude in such a way that it cuts your cable, okay? So just use your X-ray vision, turn it on, and then you'll know. Should be no problem, okay? All right, rudder, I got the brown up. Okay, brown to brown. Okay, then I'm gonna grab the rudder, which happens to be a split cable because it's going to the steerable nose gear. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you want to fast forward through our waffling parts of the videos, you're not going to hurt our feelings. No. Just do what you got to do. But that's where some of the best frustration comes in. So if you're wanting to watch us annoyed, that's the best time. Just going to stick this in the hole. Come on. Come on. Get in there. There it is. Ooh, that's a tight squeeze. Wow. Nice fit. Nice fit. Actually, beautiful fit. Beautiful. I know beautiful. I know beauty. I run all these pageants. What are we talking about? Goodness gracious. Just gonna stick this all the way in. Okay, very good. All right, and two more. Should be a pretty straightforward process. Once we get these done, then we're putting the main wing on. So other than those linkages, it's like a really simple build. And other than figuring out where the battery's gonna go, now that's not starting. Okay, that's a bit of a problem.
Quite a gap.
I'm holding, there she goes, right down in. Nice, deep, solid penetration with a pop at the end.
That's how you know?
That's how you know you're done. Once you hear the pop. All right, this side didn't need to pop. It slid in without any extra effort. It just went in, finished the job, and did it nice and quiet. Oh, don't want to hear crushing. Okay, we're good. Goodness gracious, a lot of threads on this side, it feels like. Okay, now that we're done with that, first of all, good squareness, bad decals. Look at this. This bad decals. Look at that. Why are there bubbles?
Bubbles, yeah, I noticed that.
I don't like the bubbles. This is okay. I'm not super worried about that, but this one kind of annoys me. I want to see if I can walk it out of there. If you do see bubbles and you want to get rid of them, you can get rid of them with a sharp tipped tool and it'll just let the air out of the pocket. But just be aware, when you do it, you better walk from one side to the other or it'll just make another pocket. Okay?
Yeah.
Because once that adhesive makes a seat around where you poke the hole, it's just gonna not go out there too. So we've learned the hard way. All right, so really pretty clean and easy install so far because we don't have that rat's nest in here yet.
Right.
Ugh.
That's a lot of.
I know, it's a ton. It's a huge, huge, huge cluster. So our next move is gonna be to put the wing on. I want the 5000 to work.
I'm sorry.
I'm so disappointed that it won't fit in there. It almost makes me feel like I'm gonna have to use a 3200. A 3200, that's a 5004S. A 3200 6S is still considerably smaller.
Yeah, but they said 35C, so then you're under on both. That's a lot smaller.
That is a lot smaller. Dang it.
Is that the 5000 still?
Well, we do have a 3200 35C from Arrows too. But I guarantee you that we're gonna get better performance out of that Smart Pack. And we're gonna have the auto balancing, which really helps on EDFs with the high performance nature. Okay, we'll come back to that. So also I wanna talk about this Y cable. This is something I'm not sure what we're gonna do about. But as you can see, the retracts, that's pretty straightforward stuff. They're gonna get joined together with the wing anyway. So that's maybe not such a big deal. But I'm kind of looking at that big Y cable and I'm thinking, gosh, there's gotta be something we can do about that for cable management.
Yeah.
These 2, 3 are very easy. I'm not worried at all about those. This one here definitely has me a little bit concerned because there's just so much extra. It's a little bit tempting to come back and do something different or just plan to stuff the excess in back there, but I kind of want this to come out here. Would it go, you think? Feels like there's plastic right here. See the plastic?
But you're gonna be bringing all of that stuff up through that hole.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying is if this is the gear and it needs to get to there ultimately anyway, so that they can join forces and then go back here, that would get out of the way if the battery has to go all the way back. See what I'm saying? Like it would be nice if there was a pocket that we could pass through and if the wire came out, you know, closer to that.
Yeah.
Because then we can move the strap too. If we need to move the Velcro, we can move the whole pack back. Oh, look at this. Oh, there we go. Still annoying. All right, back to this. Oh, also I just wanted to point out the fact that this is a fully painted body. So that's kind of nice. It definitely is a unique set of colors.
I like it. I like the blue and the yellow.
I'm gonna get you a car that color then.
Blue and yellow?
Well, blue and yellow.
Gray.
Gray.
You're gonna give me a
Blue and
car?
yellow. Someday. I'll get you a radio controlled one.
I have plenty of those.
You do actually. Okay, so let's pull this out here. Let's see what we got going here. All right, so we got that, which is the flaps. Okay, so that's easy enough. And yes, I know some of you guys are gonna be like, are you gonna do Crow? Are you gonna do Reflex? Are you gonna do any of that stuff? No, we're probably just gonna do standard wing type on this. Because, I mean, I don't really see a lot of advantage to Crow on this plane. I don't think you're gonna need it at all. If you wanna do Crow, it's easy to split. Or full length ailerons or something like that. But honestly, I don't think you need that in this plane. I think this plane is super high performance as it is. If you do any more, it's gonna behave more like some crazy schizophrenic 3D plane. I don't think it's gonna be a good experience in that regard. And why is that so much longer than this? Oh, because they are longer leads and they reach out further. So split the difference, right? This one's the one that's gonna receive our nose gear up there. I like to identify these things and make sure I'm not disconnected here before I actually pass it through the body, because it's gonna be like impossible once you do that. Also, it'd be nice to leave some of it here, but I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's gonna happen. Okay, so now I gotta pass this all through the wing, which means I'm gonna come over here. Camera crew has my hardware in her hand, which is
I'm just
convenient.
protecting it.
Also, the winglets aren't painted. Huh, that's weird. I kind of thought they'd be blue.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's stick this under.
This will be.
Preference issues, guys. Now we're getting back to preference issues.
We need to grab those?
No. I think I can guide them through.
That wasn't too bad, actually.
No. Yeah, well, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. We're getting there. Hold your thoughts until it's in there. See, I can't knock on wood because it's too late. You've already jinxed us. Come on. All these Y cables are trying to go through at the same spot. And so I'm just like working them a little bit at a time, 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 which actually brings me to a very good point for those of you that are new to the hobby, brand new pilots, and you're like, Brian, finally, a jet that I can get as a brand new pilot. No, please, no, I didn't say that. Even though this plane may be a good beginner option, as in beginner EDF option, it's probably still a little bit more advanced than you want as a brand new pilot, folks. And we don't say that because we want to hold you down. We want you flying everything. One of my stupid extension things is not going through. And I'm just trying to figure out a way to jank it through without yanking it out. Okay, got it, got it. So now there's like a bunch of studs and holes in the foam that you have to line up. And all I'm doing is just trying to line them up. And I'm having a heck of a time getting all 6 of them. There we go, got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should be pretty straightforward. It looks like a nice tight joint. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our Robart plane stand. Nothing special about this. I've been linking to this thing forever. It is a tool that's nice. One of our subscribers bought it for us as a gift because he watched us destroy one of my wife's blankets with a P51 a long time ago. And so he's like, I feel bad for you and your tedious work. Okay, so I need screws. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? No extras.
Wait, how many do you need?
6. There's 6.
Oh no.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
That is such an unusual thing. It's like the first time we've ever done an FMS plane and not gotten extras.
Maybe we lost one.
Maybe we already lost it, yeah. Maybe it's in the middle of the EDF.
Great.
Yeah.
That won't be irrelevant at all.
Yeah, if it blows up on Maiden, then we'll know what's going on. Must have been the screw. Fell out of the sack into the deep hole. What? So we're just gonna put this in here. I mean, they put a warning on there for that sort of thing.
Yeah, it said don't stick it in the hole.
Don't stick it in the hole. You might get it chopped off.
Yeah.
Especially if it's the wrong hole. Could definitely happen then. Oh, we have more ventral fins. Amazing. Those ventral fins are gonna make the difference. If you cut those off, you might as well just throw the plane away. It's not even gonna go straight down the taxi.
Why did you cut your fins off?
Just don't cut anything off that you don't want to have later, maybe. That's all the advice you're gonna get from Brian Phillips RC today. Okay, so there are a lot of screws holding this wing on.
Yeah,
Not sure why there's so many, but we got good plastic reinforcement, plastic, and paint. Paint's nice, but then this is really ugly. But it does definitely blend in. I mean, at 100 miles an hour, you're not gonna notice it. It's not gonna be a big deal. And to be honest with you guys, I used to, when I first started flying, I was so picky. Oh, I just want it to look like a military style jet. I don't want any sort of weird livery on there. I don't want, you know, I don't want it to be a certain color. And I just want a P51 or whatever. Well, now that we've been doing this for a long time, it really gets us excited, those of us that have been in this hobby for a long time, to see different liveries and different trim schemes, different types of aircraft. It's very exciting for us because, you know, we've seen a lot of different planes that are the same. Now, the Viper is a great platform, by the way. And if you've never had one, you need to get one because you'll be amazed how well these things fly. And obviously, you know, the 90mm from e-flite is amazing. It's very good, still made by FMS. But of course, it's got all the Spectrum gear in it by default. And then of course, this here is an FMS offering of the 70mm, also made by e-flite. But this one comes with a lot better landing gear.
By FMS.
Huh?
Made by FMS.
The e-flite one is also made by FMS.
Okay. You just said that weird.
Yeah, because I was talking about the same thing made by the same company for a different company.
Yes.
Branded under a different marketing. So anyway, all right, so we got all these wires coming through. Okay. I'm just trying to think. We're gonna have to do something to keep those down. That's just the way it's gonna have to be. Look how long that is. That's ridiculous.
A lot of cables.
That is a lot of extra. This won't be bad if we can get it all up there.
Right.
I just honestly, I'm nervous we're gonna have to put the 631 pointing that way. Now that we've kind of got this, I wanted the button to be up front, right?
So the pins and cables were all going to the back.
Oh, by the way, do you notice how that's gonna be going into the aircraft like this instead of like flat? Mm-hmm. This thing knows. It knows better, okay? You could also go back flat if you really want to, but there is a correction factor for that. Okay, so you mount it there, you don't have any problems getting anything taken care of, you don't have any problems getting your battery plugged in, and you got plenty of length. So I think our next step, like it's built.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a pretty easy build. Although we do have like 400 control linkages to put on.
It's true, we're not technically done.
We're not technically done, but we have to start somewhere with radio setup. And I think this is a great time to start the radio setup. Don't you, camera crew?
No, I think it's excellent.
I think it's a phenomenal time.
Super excited.
So what we're gonna do is we might actually pause and clean up some of our garbage and come right back. All right, so as mentioned before, we're gonna use a 630 and we're gonna use the NX10, okay? So you could use smaller than NX10 because we're not gonna need, we're gonna be using 8 channels, okay? And you're like, but that's a 6-channel receiver. Wrong. This is a 6-channel receiver for pluggable plugs. There's actually additional channels above and beyond that, okay? So we'll show you how to tap into those so you can set up your mode and your gains in this application, which is really handy. And we're just gonna plop in a 6S 5000 for testing because we have an
EC5.
EC5, yep. An EC5 is compatible with an IC5. That's an e-flite connector. That's what EC stands for, e-flite connector 5. This is an IC5, so it's got the extra data pin that does nothing in this application, but it will pass through the center of those 2 sockets, okay? So within those sockets are pins. Pins stick into sockets, so it's a little bit confusing, I know, for some people, but anyway, we're just gonna put this aside for now, and we have to set up a new profile, which I'm gonna do with you right now. So back and cancel takes you straight into the model select, add new model, create an acro. Takes a little bit longer when you get 150 or so models in here. When you only have a few, it is generally quicker, right?
It is.
Genuinely. And we're gonna use this amazing little device. This has all the stabilizer, auto leveling, everything, and then that's just crappy Velcro that we stole straight out of the plane. Okay, so now we can go to model type is already set. If you change it, it's going to reset everything. Model name. This is where we're gonna type number 156 colon space. This is gonna be the 70mm Viper V2. Or are we gonna type FMS?
Usually, yep.
Viper V2? Okay, so we're gonna do that now. Okay, so we did the best to fit it in there, and that's pretty much what we could do. The 15th anniversary edition is not gonna fit, so we did FMS Viper V2, 70mm 15th. Okay, so then we'll do aircraft type. So we have to set up 1 aileron, 1 flap, and normal tail. And then we'll scroll down here to select an image. We should have a Viper or something similar in here. Ooh, well, that's a Habu. Pretty close. Looks like an Ultra Stick.
Close enough.
Nope, we don't have it. What if they have more standard image files if we downloaded them? Okay, so that's good enough. All right, so now flight mode setup. Because we're using AS3X Unsafe, I do have to set up a flight mode. It's pretty easy. I'll show you how to do it right now. So choices, let's talk about switches for a minute. This is gonna be for gear. This is gonna be for flaps. This is gonna be for nothing, even though I probably should start adopting this into my stabilizer on, stabilizer off, and so on and so forth. But I feel it's easier to get to this, even though it's further in, and I'm a thumb holder, thumb flyer, as opposed to a pincer. They can get to those things easier. We'll go ahead and set it to D. That gives us 3 settings, okay? Now, if we didn't have retracts on a plane, we would just use this switch, which only gives us 2 conditions, okay? This will give us 3. See, 1, 2, and 3. So we'll set this to AS3X, we'll set this to off, and then we'll set this to auto leveling and AS3X, okay? We'll show you how to do the spoken flight mode right now. You can see, there you go. Okay, so all I do is, and that's what you would do if you were leaving it as default. But I don't like that because it's very unarticulate. And when you're flying, you want to know what's going on. You don't want to be ambiguous with your, with your commands and stuff. Okay, so we'll go to knowing what's going to happen. This is going to be opposite of that. So I'm just going to set it the way I want it. It's going to be incorrect, and it's just a call out. It is not actually changing a mode. It's just going to say what we want it to say. So F mode name. Now we can highlight, cancel, cancel, and then I want to type in AS3X. Okay, AS3X. Then I'm going to scroll way down to about here. We'll come back. AS3X mode. Okay, then this one's where we're gonna set up the name for off. So we're gonna type the word OFF, off. So it says off, now we want it to say off, which is roughly halfway down or so. Not silence, off, okay? Okay, so now flight mode 3, we'll do the same thing, except we're gonna type in the word safe, sensor assisted flight envelope. Okay, so sensor assisted flight envelope, speak. And we'll scroll down to about here again, and safe mode. All right, so. And the thing that's nice about the flight mode is it'll be displayed up here on the screen all the time, so you can tell what's going on. Well, at least on the main screen. Okay, now channel assign. I am going to know, I know that I'm gonna be using B with flaps, okay? So auxiliary 1 is tied up for flaps, but I don't want B to be tied to this auxiliary 2 and flaps. That'll take up 2 channels. So I'm just gonna unassign this by clicking cancel, and that will inhibit that default connection. Everything else we can leave the same. Now we walk out to the main flight mode. We can see there's our mode. Pretty nice, right? But remember, that doesn't actually set anything up. It's just a call out or a label. It's an audio and visual label. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up from start to finish. We'll just go in order, sort of. Aileron Expo, we'll set to switch F. Whoops, see how it moved? It's because I scrolled on accident. So there's 5, there's 10, and there's 20, but we're gonna reduce the rates down to 90%. Keeping in mind, we have AS3X and safe that will be on with the exception of the off condition. I generally don't fly with it off, but I could if I wanted. I fly with safe off almost all the time and AS3X on almost all the time. Stabilizers I like. Auto leveling I don't need anymore, and therefore I don't call it out unless I'm flying a helicopter. And then I use safe quite a little bit still because I'm still learning. And that's the beauty of having sensor-aided flight envelope. You're gonna have help when you're flying. This starts the middle. If you need more, you go down and you have more. If you need less, you need it to be more sensitive to get to the ground, then you go here. Pretty simple stuff, okay guys? All right, so now we'll go from elevator to rudder and we'll just copy again. You'll notice a pattern here. It's the exact same settings for all 3. You'll be amazed how big of a difference this makes for you as a beginner pilot. And to be perfectly frank, we set it up and we almost never switch out of the middle mode unless we make a mistake. Okay, that's where we're gonna start. Now throttle cut, switch H. This ought to be the top setting, but it's not. Down here you can see the throttle. It's not moving until we shut off throttle hold or throttle cut. Okay. Difference between throttle hold and throttle cut is that throttle hold is vernacular used on helicopters and throttle cut is used on airplanes. I think it has something to do with the way that we cut power to an engine, meaning you can set the throttle condition below 0 to kill your engine idle speed. And that terminology doesn't immediately translate to an EDF jet, but it's part of what we use in common vernacular right now in RC. So hopefully that helps to answer your question. If you're coming back to the hobby, you probably already know that. If you're just been in the hobby for a few years, you may not be aware of that. All right, so anyway, coming back. So next thing, we're not gonna use throttle curve or any of these things yet. You would use digital switch setup later if we were doing thrust reverse. Like for instance, if you had an avian ESC, you can use this and you can get your pack telemetry, which is really nice. If you're using a smart battery or if you're using a dumb battery, you can also get your voltage through this without the addition of a full functioning, full range telemetry receiver. Like the AR637, it's considerably more expensive. So you can use a cheaper receiver with smart technology. That'd be that thing. See that little thing right there? Boop. That's smart, not to be confused with safe. Not to be confused with DSMX. DSMX is the protocol by which this transceiver communicates to this transceiver, this receiver and this transmitter. Okay, and then Spectrum is the brand. That's a bind button. Pretty cool. Next, we're gonna be hooking up wires. But we gotta get flap systems set up now because we don't have any of our linkages installed. Thank you, FMS. We are not gonna set any of this because we don't want the elevator to be accidentally drooped. I'm gonna set the speed to 2 seconds, and I'm gonna set this all to nothing so that it's in the neutral position. We don't wanna accidentally put our mechanical linkages in position and have some sort of asymmetry because we forgot about that. Okay? So again, the only problem is we really kind of need this. We kind of need to put it in the middle position, don't we? Yes. Minus 100, plus 100. We don't know which one we want for flaps down, but we do know that we want them to be roughly in the middle at neutral. So we want to run our B switch in the center, okay? Does that make sense? We could have done the same thing without changing that, but I just wanted you to be aware of my conditions there, okay? All right, and no mixing. Timer, I don't know. We'll set it to 3 minutes and hope for the best with a 25% 1 out to activate our timer. And then at 1 minute, we want voice. At 20 seconds, we want nothing. At 10 seconds, we want voice. And at expiration, I want tone and vibrate with the tone every minute thereafter. All right, throttle cuts on. Gear switch is in the down position, so they may pop. Show them the people. The gear are currently stowed. When I pull this up, that would be the stowed condition. That would be the down condition. We may need to flip that so that it jives with other planes. But now at this point, we can go over here and we can see where to land all of our different plugs. Because we need throttle, then ailerons, then elevator, then rudder, then gear, then flaps, then auxiliary 2, auxiliary 3, 4, and 5, right? So we're not worried about those things yet because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and these are not pluggable, but you'll note that they're still working, okay? Now, why are they still working and why does that matter? Because this will shortly be attached to another auxiliary via forward programming, and we'll show you exactly how to do that. At Brian Phillips RC, we take the time to do full radio setups on these, the most expensive part of your RC tool bag. Yes, you may have more expensive planes, but if you don't know how to use this, you're not gonna get the most value out of it. And truth is, we're just showing the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more that you can do and a lot more fun you can have. But we don't cut corners and make short format because we wanna help you guys learn to be better at this hobby and know how to use the very expensive technology that comes power packed in these little transceivers. And that's what we do. So if you guys like what you see, you can support us by buying planes that you see us review from the links in the video description below. If you ask questions in the comments and it takes me a while to get back to you, my apologies. We've been backlogged on comments like something fierce. We also have Patreons. I do tend to get to their comments quicker because I get notified about them, and so we can have dialogues. It's a little easier. And no, that's not a beg for money sort of thing because we don't really even want you to do Patreon. We want you to buy planes. We want you to buy helicopters. We want you to buy quads or whatever it is we're reviewing, ground vehicles, weed whackers, air pressure gauges, leaf gauge, whatever it happens to be. The best way you can pay us back, both literally and figuratively, is to smash a like button, click the bell and subscribe, and then be part of this community and support us by buying the stuff that keeps this ecosystem running because we love RC and we want to bring you the best quality long format content that we can possibly bring. And the way you do that is by helping us to build clout with these guys so that we can come in here and say how annoyed we are that we don't have linkages installed. And then furthermore, we can go and fly them and then crash them showing brand manufacturing mistakes. You can't do that if you're not selling some products for them once in a while, okay? So we bring you the truth so that they will be accountable to you. And we're just the conduit by which it happens. So if you guys haven't figured out how that works on your own, I'm surprised because we've been doing this a long time. We have like 1,700 videos out there and we're gonna help you get up to speed if you need it. But the current ecosystem of Chinese-made electronics, Chinese-made airplanes sold by American companies or Chinese companies is pretty much where we live. So we're trying our best to keep some accountability for them and give you guys the best bang for your buck. And the way you do that is to buy things from the links so that they don't just discount us and go to the guys who do short format and say, look how amazing this is, buy it, because they're gonna make it look amazing, just like we could make it look amazing even if it's garbage. So we try our best to show you what it really does. And then let you guys make up the mind. If you hate this trim scheme, you know, whatever. If you don't like the way it looks, whatever. I mean, we get it. Like, it's not a huge deal to us, but we wanna bring you the truth and let you guys make up your own minds. And then also show them in the best light that we can possibly show them in a consistent side-by-side location. And also a consistent, ready to use, informative, step-by-step how-to on how to set up your radio. Okay, so that's what we do on Brian Phillips RC. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. We hope we'll keep your interest. All right, so we're gonna start landing cables, and then when we're done landing cables, we'll just kind of manipulate that stuff up in here like a giant blood clot and stick it in there. Okay? Yes, blood clot was the best thing I could think of right now. So I'm gonna click over here to the monitor mode. We'll see that we have throttle right there on channel 1. Now, channel 1 is not to be confused with the bind/programming SRXL2. Did I say that right finally? Mm-hmm. I hate saying that word, it's like a mouthful. But that is also the SRXL2, so if you were gonna use that to go out to another flight controller, then you could use that. I believe someday we'll have to try that on a reflex, because I believe we can actually send the data from here out at a serial communications technique, but I'm not sure how to do it yet because I haven't done that yet. We've done a lot of other stuff on this channel, but just not that. We've done the old versions of serial communication and it's worked fine. Okay, so now how do you know which way these wires go? Okay, it goes this way or it goes that way, right? On the second set of pins. How do we know? We look right here, it says S plus minus. This one's silk screened nicely. Sometimes they're not. So signal is up. The lighter color is up. This is a Hextronics color code as opposed to, or excuse me, this is I said that backward. This isn't, what am I trying to say? No, this is Hextronics JR. This is Futaba. Sorry, Futaba color code. Man, that was a brain fart. This is Hextronics JR, okay? So JR is basically Spectrum now, okay? In case you guys were wondering. All right, so this is elevator. So elevator is, if you look down at the screen, you can see it's the third one over. So it's gonna be skip one and then go to the elevator, all right? So now this, because this is a Y cable, this is your special warning right now. This could be backward on one and correct on the other, because if they forget to put in a reverse servo, you'd be then screwed. I will show you how to correct such an event if that happens. I've never seen that happen yet, but if you were to crash your plane, fix the servos, you may need to fix that. Okay, we'll talk about it if it ever happens, but I don't think it will in this case. Now I'm just noticing that I have to plug in this wire for the landing gear. So I'm just gonna go ahead and bring this over here and go green, or excuse me, go black or brown to brown and orange to orange, okay? And then these ones, we got two more to plug in. So we have ailerons. Ailerons are on port 2. As you can see, it's the second control channel. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of try to get this up in here so that it's as least tangly and dangly. Okay, slide that in there nicely. I like to get my labels pulled back just a little bit because there's a lot of action going on right here. I like them back a little bit. Flaps, now you can see this is where we're gonna run into a little bit of an issue because it's so short. Now flaps, if you guys look here, you can see where flaps. It's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 is flaps or auxiliary 1. Okay, so flaps are 6 or auxiliary 1. Okay, now we need to plug in the gear, the retracts. Those are port 5. And then 4, as you can see, is 1, 2, 3, 4 is rudder. Now you guys may notice that there are certain standard layouts, and Spectrum uses a particular standard if it's a standard 6-channel setup. I don't worry about what those standards are. Do you want to know why? Because if you change the wing type, you're going to change the standard. Thus, you'll be doing guesswork. Now, you may find that it's a little easier to memorize the order that things plug in, and that's all hunky-dory. But then as soon as you go to FR Sky, you're gonna be wrong. As soon as you go to Futaba, you're gonna be wrong. As soon as you go to anywhere else, you're gonna have to be wrong. So my suggestion is go by what the radio says or go by what the manual says if it's some sort of a bind and fly, okay? This is a plug and fly, meaning you have to plug wires in, which generally means the difficulty is a little bit higher, but only because you have to actually do this stuff. That's why our channel is helpful to so many people. It's because so many people are just in the process of learning all this stuff, and we're gonna help you learn it because that's just what we do. And there's a huge cheater right here, but I'm not sure, can we put wires in there? I feel like we'd be really compromising our airflow through that cheater.
I know, I was wondering that too.
It's very tempting to just cram it right in there. Let's see if I can pull this forward. I honestly don't know. It would be nice, but you guys see what I'm talking about right there? Mm-hmm. Boy, that is a tough call. So here's my next move. I gotta figure out a way to get this totally mixed up mess of mess unmixed up. So this has to stay down, okay? Because it's gear. And then I feel like one of these needs to stay down because it's just not gonna reach properly. It might. So this is gonna slide back in here. I feel like we're gonna eventually get back to where the EDF is on either top or bottom. So we're gonna try this and we're just gonna do it sparingly and carefully. Now the battery can only go so far back because the thickness here is so wide. And make no mistake, as those air cavities come back to where the EDF is, it gets pretty thin right here, okay? So if you're thinking about carving to make your battery fit, just think again. You may not have as much room as you think you have. Okay, so this, I hate where that is with a passion. I really, 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 really wish that was underneath that wood.
It looks like there's a little slit in there. Like that's what they intended to do.
This? That's just a grain issue.
No, if you look from down here, I'm shorter than you in the foam, but then it's...
that's the two halves of the mold.
Oh.
This body's built in two halves like most. And then they use China glue.
That's where that comes from.
China.
Bummer.
Yeah. So this, nice. I wanted to put upside down, and that's what we're gonna do now. So I'm gonna peel this disgusting...
Are you ready to stick it?
I'm gonna stick it, whether it's ready or not. I'm just gonna cram it right in there. Okay, so folks, I don't generally use Velcro for mounting these things, but it's fine for this one. I think we're gonna be okay. I just hope all these wires don't get sucked into EDF because then I'm gonna eat my words and be really annoyed and disappointed with myself. And by the way, that is not fitting very good. Because look, by the time you get all those freaking wires in there, you're just like out of room. And to be honest, I don't know how far back the battery's gonna need to go anyway for CG reasons. So I'm almost thinking at this point, camera crew, you said it earlier and you were right then, but we didn't have any, we weren't this far along. So I think what we need to do now is we need to take a second and we need to plop a the 6S 5000 into the plane right here. And we're gonna see how the CG works out. Normally we wouldn't do CG right now, but we're getting to the point where we gotta try it at some point.
That one's too big.
This one's too big?
Yeah.
It's not gonna be too big if we put it back. I'm just pulling this Velcro out. It's not gonna be part of the equation. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide the Velcro or I'm gonna slide this. We may need to redo that too, because that's way too far forward with a 5000 at least. Okay, so I'm gonna just try to push this back, grabbing the tailpipe and pushing it in. Oh yeah. See what I'm talking about? I'm just trying to see what other options we have. Because this can actually go vertical like this if we wanted to, okay? I'm not saying that's what I wanna do here. I don't know how to get rid of all this bulk. You know, it's a lot of wiring. It's a ridiculous amount of wiring.
It kind of is.
Okay, well, let's just try this CG test first, okay? If this was plugged in, then it would be about like this. So I'm just doing that to kind of hold it in the general spot. And then I'm just gonna put this in here in the general spot, but not like tucked in totally, just tucked in temporarily, because we may need to do some modifications to make it work anyway. So now, for the first time on this entire build, we're gonna crack the manual open, which honestly we've done good because usually we have to crack the manual for one thing or another.
Well,
I'm gonna grab
we haven't had to find the holes for the...
We will.
Yeah, linkages yet.
We will though, yeah. So do you think I should use a yellow, orange, or black?
I would just do black.
Black? Okay.
Yeah, I would. Okay, so 90 to 95.
Okay, so we're gonna pop out
the
old trusty calipers, zero them, pull it way out, 90 to 95. And the charger is chiming over there. So we're gonna mark 90 to 95 for the CG, and that's from the leading edge of the wing, or is it here, or is it like where, I'm assuming it's there.
Yeah.
I hate that measurement point. I know. It's literally a ½ inch scoop.
But that's what it looks like.
What does it say? Does it say where to measure from?
From the leading edge of the main wing as shown.
As shown?
As shown.
So it's probably the leading edge of the actual entire assembly. So right here, I'm gonna have to go with. Okay, so I'm just lined up here, square with the plane. And you can see eventually you get to the point where you be at the mark. So I'm gonna go in just a little bit so it's not confusing. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a dent. That's 90. I'm gonna come back over here. Just be mindful of where my other mark is. And I'm gonna bring it out, you know, just make sure I'm square and perpendicular to the length of the plane. And then I'm gonna move this to 95. So if you guys aren't familiar with using calipers, this is a precision tool used in a very non-precision application. And so don't be surprised if it kind of sucks compared to what you could do, okay? So I have to be kind of careful. And yeah, I don't know if I just did a crappy job. I'm just gonna measure 5 millimeters. In fact, I'm gonna take and measure this and see how close I got it. But see, I don't know where I measured from. You see, this gap will change the further out on the wing you get. So I can't even do that. So I'm just gonna go to 5 millimeters. I hope you guys understood what I just said there, because I feel like it's noteworthy. What I'm saying is, depending on from where you start your measurement, so 5 millimeters, it's gonna distinguish whether you're closer or further from this blue line, okay? Because this tapers. So if you imagine this on a square axis, you're gonna be a certain amount out. But as you carry down the wing, it changes its relative position to this, okay? I mean, I'm sure I'm probably preaching to the choir on this, so I'm gonna stop bemoaning the issue on this detail. But I do not want you guys to get burned because your center of gravity is mismarked so badly that you crash your Viper, okay? And I'm not just saying that because, you know, I've heard of people crashing these things. I've heard of people having issues when you get in low speed. Only reason I know is because I've flown these planes enough to know that they bite hard when they bite. You don't want to make it super nose heavy because then you can't flare on landing. So you're going to be landing very fast. You want it so that the CG is far enough, well, so that the battery is back far enough so you're riding tail heavy enough that you can flare the plane. You have enough elevator authority to continue to flare and get into flare to help slow the plane down. But the flaps are quite effective on this plane. They are big, okay? So just a few things for you to consider as you're making your considerations. Now, also, we aren't gonna have a good way of latching this in this current configuration because of the way we're testing. So I'm gonna take this IC3 and I'm just gonna slip it into the side. Remember, this is 5,000. It's larger than what they recommend, but I would really like to make the 5,000 work. We may not be able to make it work, full disclosure. You know, I could also just stick it in like that.
And then bundle your wires down in that
bulk
little column.
Yeah, because there's room for it.
But then you could like zip tie it in a nice little package. Or not so little package.
It's kind of like a huge package.
I know it is.
It's kind of like a huge, thick package.
Well, sometimes it's
not
what
the
it
way,
takes.
not the way I like it.
Not ideal.
Not ideal. Gosh, that is so much cable. Holy cow. I don't know, hon. I think that's the way it's gonna be. It's gonna be hard to get to that bind plug. Or the, you know, we could have just bind it with the bind plug too. Because I could barely get my finger in.
Well, I mean, like I could get my finger in there. See?
I can get to it. It's not ideal, but it does get the job done, okay? So this is why we test stuff. Also, just speaking of, I don't like the way that that's moving around. If I continue to have problems, I'll have to make a tough decision. Also, look where we're strapped. If this CG works out here, which I expect it will probably work out here, this should maybe actually fit. I don't know there's already a vent right there where it's shooting. Okay, in. Oh, son of a biscuit lover. I can't stick that in there. I can't do that. You know why?
Because
the wires get in the way of the canopy. I was afraid of that.
Because there's no, yeah, that notch is not big enough.
Okay, so I'm just walking this down. That feels terrible. I'm just sliding it back, and then I gotta make it so that it's out of the way when I go to put this on. Okay, so it's on, but it's not ideal. We're gonna have to probably redo that. Okay, so now that we have this, I have the gear retracted. That's not a good way to test your CG, but it's good enough for our test. Nose heavy now, very nose heavy still.
That's nuts.
That's a 5,000 though. What are you gonna do?
But it's way back.
It has to be back, because otherwise you won't get the canopy on.
I thought that it would be tail heavy though.
But just think, it's not tail heavy.
It's not.
It's not even close. And the other thing too, to think about, is that the further we go back, the more flexibility we have on everything else. So, what I'm trying to say is, I'm probably gonna have to rearrange this a little bit and see if we can work this out. Ugh.
Okay, but wait. Everything, you have a ridiculous amount of cabling, except for the flaps. If you put an extension on the flaps, could you put your receiver up here?
That's what many people have done. That's what many people have done. And I'm not saying that's a bad idea. It's just that you got a huge bundle of wires going all the way to the front.
I know.
And so you're saying just on the flaps? Ugh.
That was the one that was short.
Not just on the flaps though. And it would be on the gear and it would be on the flaps.
Oh. Okay.
And then you've still got the bulk of everything back here. So while that isn't a terrible concept, and I do appreciate you giving me an amazing idea that doesn't work, I'm gonna go ahead and just not do that at all.
Okay, that's okay. I'm not excited.
Some people are gonna wanna do that though, and I have actually heard of it. And the same thing was true on the F-16 70mm from e-flite. Terrible, terrible, terrible cable management issues with that one too, but super popular plane. So if you guys have had that plane, you can throw me a thumbs up and say, yep, I also had problems with mine. Okay, so all I'm doing is just working the cables in a little bit at a time and just hoping to God that the EDF fan doesn't get clogged up with them. Because that is not an impossibility, because you know, my x-ray vision is broken. And actually I was told by my boss that I need to relinquish the controls of the x-ray vision so that in certain environments, it has to be turned off. Correct?
Correct.
Is that pretty much how that goes?
Yeah, that's how that goes.
Okay, so I now have that the way I planned on doing it, and now I can just push my pinky finger back to center it, okay? So now it's centered, I can get to the bind plug easier. Okay, so my initial thought, even though I was trying to take the easy way out usually doesn't work. Sometimes it does, it didn't in this case.
Oh, for a second.
I have to just kind of stuff all this crap back there, and you see these two wires, these two lonesome wires, annoying lonesome wires. Okay, good Lord.
That looks great.
That looks really ridiculous. Okay, all right guys, we don't often do this on camera. I usually do this sort of crap off camera because I'm anal retentive and I'll spend a long time doing something like this. But I just want to show you what I'm gonna do because this is just disgusting to me, okay? You can't have this beautiful plane and have all this ugly wiring sticking out like this. So I'm gonna show you the trick of the day. Trick of the day from Brian Phillips RC. Get your tricks, get them here. Get them first, get them while they're hot. We're gonna use the receiver package. Okay, so now you have to buy this one.
And don't throw your garbage away immediately like most normal people do.
Okay, now cut the top off. It'd be nice because it'll stiffen it, but we can't really use that. You might also cut off the bottom. Okay, that gives you enough height. All right. So now I wanna see if I can get this little son of a biscuit lever to get right in here and then make sure that my wires don't get chafed or cut. And that's the way you're gonna do it. It's gonna be very simple. Now I just need to figure out how wide to make this, okay? So now I'm gonna cut one side, just make it easy and make it dirty and fast. Okay, cut it here. Okay, so now we've got this weird square. Should be no problem to get in there. Just do a quick fold. And then these two wires are all I'm concerning myself with. Might need some chain glue. China. Like that. Look at that, guys. So the only thing I don't like about that is it slows down the airflow that would otherwise go here. That can be resolved in a number of different ways.
Is it too tall?
Too tall, yeah, it is.
Just a little bit?
A little too tall, a little too wide. So I'm gonna take about a 1/2 inch off total on the top and bottom, and I'm gonna go just a little bit less wide, and now you can see about how big that is here, okay? Now, when you get this done right, you can really get this thing shaped in here nicely. You know what I mean, Jean? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're just gonna push that back, and then that is that, folks. That's in there, and it's in there to stay until you decide to take it out, at which point you can remanipulate your wires. I mean, the hole is plugged.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about it there, folks. Okay, now the other thing you can do is you can make this so that it's a little bit easier to block the view of the ugliness. But the thing that I like about this is you can take it in, you can take it out, and you don't have to worry about some level of permanence to it. It's very easy to take it in, it's very easy to take it out, and yet it does exactly what you need it to. And if you want to China glue it in there, it'll stay a little bit more permanently, but I think I'm gonna lift mine up like this so it kind of goes up to the top of the pocket. Better turn the light on for them. You guys see what I'm talking about? It's pulled to the top here, okay? And you want to get it so it's biting into the outside edges. So I'm gonna go this way with it. Got a little bit of a trapezoidal shape to it. Okay, so now watch this. Once you get that lined up nicely, it's very simple, basic stuff. Once you're lined up kind of nicely like that, you can just plop it down in there. And if you really want to make a beautiful, beautiful fit, you just need to get your X-Acto knife and then exactly cut this right here. Okay, and then exactly push that back just a hair and then cut right there. Just a small sliver, just like that, and then a small sliver. Just into the sliver. Come on, you can do it. There it is. Now it's into the sliver on both sides, and there it is. And that's really, I mean, it's not gonna be a big deal right now. You're probably thinking to yourself, you're way overthinking that, Brian, and you wouldn't be completely wrong when you say these things. But the truth is, what happens is you don't do something like that, and the next thing you know is you're out at the flight field, and you're fighting your crashed plane, your freshly crashed plane, and you don't know what the heck happened, and the aileron came unplugged or some stupid thing like that, and you're just like, why did this happen? What went wrong? What did FMS do wrong? When really, it's just a giant bundle of you know what, and it's your own fault, and you feel bad about it, and then that's the way it goes, okay? I've heard of it a million times. Now this probably needs to move, and the Velcro, if the Velcro is to be taken advantage of, is useless at this position, okay? So I am gonna go ahead and peel that up. Even if I use a smaller battery, it's probably gonna need to be back further. So FMS, if you're watching, this is not a new plane, it's a V2, you should know this by now. That needs to be back here, okay? Wonderful, simple, and amazing, okay? Now this is useless there as well. Even if I go to a smaller pack, this is gonna be better served at a different position, okay? These are high quality straps. They are really difficult to get through after the fact, so it's frustrating to have to do that, but it is what it is, okay? Now I'm gonna try to put my battery up here where I could really get good penetration. You see how the tip is rounded and it just slides straight into the socket right here? Perfect, right? Look how much further back that is.
That's crazy.
Look how much easier that's gonna be to load.
Yeah, tons.
It's gonna be tons easier. And look, when I go to pull my battery out, I slide it forward and boom, bam, ready to rock and roll. And all we have to do now is take some tape and we're gonna tape that SOB right into its position.
Well, and we've said multiple times that putting the ease with which you can put a battery in a plane
makes a difference.
Determines whether or not you fly it.
Yep, and if you make it a pain in the butt to put a battery in a plane, you won't be flying the 15th anniversary. You're gonna be flying the one that you've got set up like this.
What are you taping?
I'm taping that plastic. I could have China, I could have China glued it, but I didn't. You're like, Brian, what the heck is China glue? China glue is this. China glue is literally the center of the universe of RC. China. I know China glue. This is another China glue. Horizon. FMS. This one's a smaller bottle. This one's a bigger bottle. This one's clear. This one's clear. This one's cheap. This one's cheap. They both work good. They both hold up. They're both aluminized tubes. This one just doesn't come with safety warnings. I promise, don't eat it. China glue. It holds the halves together. Right here, look. I'm telling you, that's what they use.
Yep.
Right? It works really good.
See,
if you're ordering a plane from FMS right now, if you don't order a tube of this, we can't be friends anymore. Just seriously, get one. You'll be like, that stuff is awesome. I'm ordering 10 next time. Don't order 10. You do have to pierce the lid of these to open them, which is good. But I would be remiss if you ordered like too much of it and it was dried out when you got it. Oh wait, that only happens with Hobby King products where the tip is pre-cut.
Yes.
This admittedly is pre-cut, but it's made in Europe and it's got safety warnings and it's expensive, which means you're not gonna get garbage.
Yes.
Just saying. Okay, it's in there.
Oh, yeah, what were we doing?
I don't remember. There was something about sticking it in the hole. Tip first, like this. Ooh. What, you heard tape?
Oh, it's just the tape. Okay.
Oh, it's just the tape.
Making me nervous.
I should China glue it just to show the people how amazing it is to stick.
You'll do it as soon as we get
off camera. Okay. We'll just stick that right there. And then just, let's check CG before we put the strap back in to make sure we're even in the ballpark. Okay. Now, you guys may have noticed I've been plugging this in like that. That's a means to an end. It's gonna be flat. So really what I need to do is I need to kind of go, I may have to just plug it in. It's not even bound, so whatever, we're just gonna plug it in. The reason I'm concerned about this is because I need that to actually be in there to see if this thing goes on. Remember, they said 3,300, and look what we got. We got 5,000. Our lips aren't plump and popping open. Look at this. We got holes. We're gonna stick our fingers on them. Gear are not down. On the front hole, you'll notice that you are slightly perfect. On the back hole, you're still nose heavy. So to be perfectly frank, I'd like to have it back further, but the gear aren't down, and guess what happens when the gear come down? The mains go square with the same center of gravity, but guess what happens to nose gear? Call it out.
Forward.
It's gonna be more nose heavy.
Yeah.
So watch what we're gonna do to fix this. What? We can either add weight to the tail, or we can use a smaller battery, or we can try to ram the big end into the small end. Grabbing the tail, push that Somo back all the way, okay? Now check this out. Look at this, guys.
That's nice.
Look how nice that fit is. Plus the heavier end is now back because the heavier end is the battery end, not the smart chip end. Fingers on the front hole. Please be tail heavy, please be tail heavy. Ever so slightly perfect. And nose heavy on the back. So that's probably about as good as it's gonna get with 5000 6S, okay? Now, you could do 4000 6S and you'll be golden. Camera crew, if you would so kindly, hand me the 4000 6S.
Do you want the Gen 1?
Gen 2. So Gen 2, this was Gen 1, had the extra lead for a battery. Okay, 50C, 30C, okay? This is a 50C. Stick this in the hole, stick it all the way back until it hits the special spot. Oh yeah, that's a pretty special spot. You'll note that we're in 4000, which is 700 milliamp hours, bigger than recommended. And watch how gorgeous this is gonna be. Watch this. No carvings. Oh, that's a tight squeeze because of the way the XT, or because the IC5. Let's see if we can get this thing to slip around it. I think we'll be able to do it like this. Just get it flat and then stick it in. I think we should be good. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. 4000, 6S folks. On the front holes, oh yeah, tail heavy. To the point where it's falling out of my fingers. Perfect on the back holes. For an EDF jet, that's phenomenal because this thing's gonna go like that, which is gonna shift the CG slightly nose heavy, which means you're gonna be golden on landings. Now, our next step, we also need to get a battery strap in there.
Oh yeah.
We need to.
Yeah, we do.
Even though it's stuffed in there and you'd probably be okay, as soon as you probably be okay,
yeah,
you'd probably be chasing your battery at like
arcing through
100
the
feet
yard.
in the air, 200 feet in the air, plonk. Which, by the way, I did that.
Do so well.
On my Viper from e-flite. You wanna know why? Because the strap was in the wrong spot. Weird how that would happen. So we're gonna fix that right now. Okay, so we were back here, like all of you guys are gonna be, incidentally. And we need to put this through so that this can go in and around, so it's gonna be like this, okay? So now, you might be asking yourself, how in the wonderful world of RC are you gonna stick that thing through? We're gonna try and we're gonna get lucky. You guys ready to watch me stick it in? Watch for the black curlies. That's how you can tell you're getting close. Oh, come on, black curlies. Get it through, get it through. Oh, buddy, I see the black curlies, woohoo! There it is. Oh, yes, it's so special. All right, I need to grab some tools. Oh, where did I put my forceps? Oh, they're out here.
They're out still.
These are forceps. If you don't have a pair, you should get a pair, or you should get more than a pair, get a whole set. These ones are the ones you're gonna use, okay?
Yeah.
The bent tip is that's where it's at. I didn't think that was gonna be the way it was, but it is the way it is. Okay? Oh, there's lots of boogas on there. Put the boogas right next to the curly blacks. Ugh, dang it. Hey, turn your light on for me. Go right up in there, please. Thank you.
Can you see?
I can see. I'm looking past it.
Okay.
I'm just having
There it is.
Oh, yes. Yes, it's a miracle. I totally didn't think I was gonna get that. Seriously, guys, that is so typically impossible that I'm like really, really, really thrilled to be getting that through the hole. These are the types of details that on a version 2 of any plane should have already been worked out. But let's be honest, folks. I am trying to ride a bigger battery in here than they recommended. So don't be surprised if you go against their recommendations for the perfect size battery that you might, once in a while, you might run into a problem. This was probably a self-inflicted problem, okay? Okay, so we're just gonna push this back all the way. Oh yeah, that's a good fit. Then we're just gonna strap this SOB right into the hole. You know, I need to go like this. Oh yeah, perfect. That's actually not too bad for a jet. Loading batteries in jets is historically a huge pain in the butt. And I might, at some point, clip this one, okay? So let's just stick it in the hole, hold it down, and then hold it a little bit stronger with my clippity doohickey. Oh yeah. Now, time to check. Also, we are gonna add linkages behind the center of gravity. That might help get us a little bit more tail heavy. Okay, on the front hole, it's going backward. Just take my word for it. It's going up in my armpit. Now it's still going up in my armpit. Perfect. So that means we got a little bit of leeway. Yeah, buddy. Okay, going to the other side. That nose gear is gonna stick all the way up to the front, so you gotta be careful. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
Make sure there's room on your plane stand, okay? So now, in terms of radio setup, we're not done. We still have to do quite a little bit. And the next step, speak of the devil, is to bind this thing to our transmitter, which we're gonna do now. Pop the lid. We have a battery in there. It's feverishly asking to be bound. I'm gonna click, scroll down to bind and be prepared. Okay, I'm ready. Now I'm gonna get in here. Yep, it's flashing like the dickens. And as you can see, we are binding DSMX 22 milliseconds. You may have heard some noises from servos going to their home position. Telemetry is auto configuring. And there you are. And you're like, but Brian, we thought you said this wasn't a telemetry equipped. It's not a full range telemetry. It's called flyby telemetry, meaning that when you fly by, you'll get updates. When you're way the heck out there, you may not. I don't really know if I buy that, because I've always seemed to get telemetry updates as I'm flying, but whatever. Ailerons, elevators, rudder, steerable nose gear, and flaps. Okay, so now that we have this thing in, we're going to the neutral setting on flaps. Actually, you know what? I want to go to normal flaps. And then I need to pay attention first to that. We are technically bound, so we're done with that part. So we can come back to getting like the fine details done. This is kind of giving me a little bit of difficulty getting this down because this cable is doubled up on itself. And you could change the way that is and you'll be golden then. Come on, there it is. Okay, so now I'm gonna flip this plane over, or at least up on its wheels. I'm gonna open the gear. Oh yeah, look at those oleos. Ooh, wow. Soft, really soft. Yes. And then the mains, a little bit firmer and a little bit firmer, but they look good. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna move this out of the way. Watch this. Go down low. I'm gonna give him a little drop test. Oh yeah, that's pretty firm. Watch the nose. That's pretty good. Bouncy. Okay, so now what do we need to do at this point? We have to figure out, oh yeah, it does steer, very good. We also need to get our gear reversed. Okay, so come over here. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go servo setup. We're gonna go over to reverse gear, and I'm gonna just quickly do that and then flip my switch. Okay, now I didn't lose my gear. My gear are down, and they'll be up when I pull that switch toward me. Okie dokie. All right, so now flipping this on its belly, just so we can look, I wanna look at flaps. So we should be in our ordinary flap, ordinary flight. Here would be takeoff flaps. Here's my landing flaps. Here's my takeoff flaps, here's my ordinary flight configuration. Okay, so here's my full landing flaps. So we are going the correct direction already. I want that to be my ordinary flight mode, so that's where we're gonna set our setting. Also, we're gonna set our ailerons. Ailerons, okay? So if you guys haven't already set your ailerons, we'll help you do that right now with these things. Linkages, yay, everybody loves linkages. So we have to unscrew these things, and they're a coarse thread in hard plastic. Sometimes you need needle nose pliers, sometimes you don't. Let's check. Hold this and spin. They're not too bad. Now, if you spin too far, the thing will come off. I just want to demonstrate how far too far is. That is too far, okay? You see how many threads are there?
Wait, nope, it's still.
You see how many threads are there? That gives you an idea of what to expect.
But it won't focus.
You got it?
I'm gonna have to just take your word for it. There you go, you can see.
Okay, so when you thread this on here, I want you to be mindful that they're all the same length on this aircraft. But if you ever get one of those pulled off and it's tapered to nothing and it looks like it's sharp, then that is a bad one. Don't use it, okay? So I'm just torquing this in here. And we're gonna start with an aileron. Why an aileron? Because that's gonna set our inside point. Our inside point's already set. Our outside point's gonna get set, okay?
We don't know what hole.
Oh, buddy, that's true. Now, the manual shows us on page 8. So if you guys just wanna look at this, you can pause it if you're trying to follow along. It's right here. So the ailerons are supposed to go on the outside hole, okay? So if you could just line up there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take and turn this from the outside hole toward the front and then flip it over. You don't have to do it that way. It's just the way I did it. Okay, so I'm just kind of looking. Yep, we got to go out further. Got to go out further. You guys see how I'm doing this? Getting pretty dang close, but that's going to make it go up. So I want to go out further. Remember, this should be neutral or square with the wing. That's pretty dang close. Let's go one more and see what it looks like. Better or worse? Worse. Better. Better, correct? Mm-hmm. Now, there's a special tool that you're supposed to use to put these things on.
That you never do.
And I almost never do because I'm a lazy
so
slob.
far away.
You guys see that? Pretty amazing, right? See that thing catches the tip? Okay, now watch how this works. Probably gonna use it wrong because I never use the thing. Oop, go this way. Boop. Pretty simple.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah, but these things are never thin enough. And you see how they're bent funny? It doesn't even close all the way because when you're prying with them, this set bends. So I don't know if that's the difference between the Chinese ones and the better ones, or if it's just I'm doing something wrong. Probably the latter. Okay, so we're gonna grab the next one. And again, this flaps are called to be going on the outside to the outside on the wing control surface, but the middle hole on the servo. Okay, so the middle hole on the servo. I'm actually kind of going backward here, but you have to make sure it's going to be lined up, so it wants to be this way. So I'm gonna go on the inside, just rotate it in, and then look. Oh yeah, we gotta go out some. 1, 2, 3, okay? Hold this where we want it. How do we know where we want it? We hold it there, that's where we know we want it, and then we confirm that it's even. Okay, that's out quite a bit, that's out a lot, that's out tons, that's out even more than tons. Now, do I trust that thing? Show the people at home what I'm talking about. Do I trust that thing? That is a good question.
Well, you didn't jank on it.
Listen. What I'm trying to say is,
It's quite a ways.
that is way out there. So I can jank on it now and see if it's gonna rip out. Jank, nope, it's not gonna yank out. I know it seems bad, but since I janked on it, everybody saw me jank on it. Okay, I'm gonna jank on it again because I know you guys don't trust me. You'll be like, yo, you didn't jank on the thing. You should have caught that in your pre-flight. There's only one of you that said that. That's okay, you know who you are. You know who you are. Boom, okay? Take off flaps, landing flaps.
Cool.
Ailerons, I don't even know if that's going the right way. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's going the wrong way, but it doesn't matter. Except it might. It might. Sometimes when you reverse the direction of travel, there's a small deviation. So our flaps are right, but the ailerons might not be right. So I want to double check this. And yes, I could do it upside down and backward, but it's just going to confuse the heck out of me in my dyslexic brain. So I'm going to flip this thing up like that. And then I'm going to stand behind the plane because I don't like overthinking things. Ha! Roll. That is definitely wrong. So I'm going to go over to ailerons and flip it. Roll. Roll. Okay? Don't be afraid to move your controller. If I do that, it's going to make this wing come up, and it's going to be opposite over here. Okay? So we're going the right direction, and we still have proper alignment. That's good. Doesn't always work out that way. I know you guys think I'm full of crap sometimes when I say stuff like that, but once you figure it out and you're like, hey, that guy's not full of crap, pretty sure you won't come back and say you're wrong. Because that doesn't happen, ever. All right, so the next thing we have to do is get more of these doohickeys to do more of that stuff that we just did already, except we're gonna do it again, and we're just gonna mimic what we did over there. If you make a mistake over there, make sure you make the same mistake over here, or you're going to regret flying this plane. Did I go out? I went out. Okay, so stick it in the hole, on the top hole, rotate it, and then get it lined up. What? It's like perfect already. What are the chances? Oh, yeah. No. Oh, is that perfect? Is that really perfect? No.
You just wanted to show them how to use the part that
No,
you hate.
I just actually made a mistake. But no, I don't know if it's a mistake yet. We'll find that out here in a second. This isn't a crappy tool. This is a nice tool. This is a tool that I just wouldn't ordinarily buy because it's a single-use tool. And
you like to struggle.
and it does that to the things. I don't like that either. Okay. So I feel like this might, you see what I'm talking about? Like it needs to go.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah, let's try half. There's half. Let's see how that goes. That is better. I'm sorry, guys. It was better.
Okay.
Better. Check the direction, make sure they're working. They are working amazing.
You went
Second hole in.
Yep.
Slide it in, rotate it. Woo! And this one doesn't seem like it's near as far out. Why? That's weird. I I don't know. It's gonna be there. Okay, now one thing to keep in mind, you don't want tons of pressure down here. So if when done making adjustments like this, it's like way janked tight still, you need to make some adjustments somehow. Okay, I'm just gonna talk about this right now. If this makes you nervous, and I don't blame you if it does, first of all, jank it. I'm pulling hard, I cannot rip it. Look at my fingers being light, I'm not cheating, I'm actually pulling hard. Because I know some of you are like, whatever, you just do is movie magic. Like, I got better things to do, people. Seriously. If the thing crashed in a fireball, it's probably better for our video. Anyway, just saying, that's not right. That's not right. Come and show them what's not right. Why is that not right, camera crew? What's wrong with that?
Wait.
Yeah.
No.
That's not right.
What's wrong with it? It's
that
on
thing
the
needs to go the other way. I don't think that looks right. It's all janked at an angle. You want it to be square. With the control surface, it's janked at an angle.
But is it going to be better if you do it the other way?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But it's janked at an angle. I don't like it. So I'm just going to unjank it. Unjank it. Yes.
So you're going to put it
I'm going to stick the doohickey in the other side, and I'm going to ram it in. Just like this. Watch this, folks. Oh, yeah. Right there. Now, if you get yourself cornholed by landing gear, just work your way around it. Now, look how nice that is. Oh, it's ignorant. Okay. Right there. Ooh, that's not good.
No, that's not right.
That's not good. Look at that. She's up. Show him. Show him.
I know. You can see.
Give him an extreme close-up.
Pretty obvious.
So what you're saying is if you can't tell, you'd be blind?
Yeah.
Okay, do it for the blind people. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I bumped the camera crew.
You're in the way of my filming.
I don't know. Yeah.
No, that's better.
That's better. Now, let's show the people in action how much better that looks. Oh, that is so perfectly better. Now watch it bind itself or something. No, it didn't.
Nope, it didn't.
Looks good.
Okay.
I like it. I like it. That's sweet. Okay, now the elevators. We're down to just 3 control rods we have to install. Here on Brian Phillips RC, we like to show long format content because we don't want to do halfway work and leave you guys hanging.
We have everything else to do.
Yeah, we're just really bored people. That being said, if you want to come back here, I'll show the people what we're actually doing in this video. See this?
They figured it out by now.
We're moving that. We're going to stick this in. Now, it says the elevator is supposed to go to the outside and outside. Wow. 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 Wow.
Usually the outside hole is preferred.
I have no recollection of any sort of experience with arguments or conversations about the sort of thing that you bring up, Judge. See? Look at that. Watch this. Elevator up, elevator down. Oh, so it's actually going correctly. That's pretty cool. That happens once in a blue moon. Okay, so now what I'm lining is, I'm lining this surface here, okay? Same thing here, I'm just feeling it. Is it right? Oh, it's actually down a little bit. Feels like it's down, doesn't it? That's down. Ugh.
Is it thinner? But wait.
No, it's down. The camera crew.
Let's screw these up.
The camera crew has this. Wow, that came off easy. That did not seem correct.
What? What are you trying to blame on me?
I'm gonna go halfway. Okay. So half a turn. That is way better. That is way better. Yeah, it's thinner, but you can still grab it with your fingertips and feel it. What is going on out there? Is there like some sort of a nuclear blast?
No, it's just getting sunny for a few minutes.
Insanely.
It's really sunny though.
It is.
We might have to shut the window.
Yeah. Plus, in case other things happen, you don't want the neighbors to watch. Like making dinner.
Yeah.
Or eating lunch.
Way too early for dinner.
If you guys know what I'm talking about when I say eating lunch from the other day, you'll understand what I mean when I say we hope you watch our other videos.
3 people will figure it out?
All 7 of you. That'd be like 100% of the footage watchers.
It would be.
Look at this. That's not correct. It needs to go down. If you're still watching and you want to support us, I know you do because you're still watching. Watching does help, by the way. But what helps even more is if you buy these things from the links in the video description below. It is the best thing you can do to support us financially, even better than sending us money. Yes, I know it doesn't seem correct or plausible, but when enough of you buy things, it does add up, and it's how we fund our channel. No joke, guys. It's what we do. Oh, are you kidding me? After I snapped it, it changed. No, it didn't change. I just did a terrible job of estimating. What? Are you making fun of my estimation skills? Okay. So I pried that off, so I gotta come out half a turn. Get to the chopper! I just made my camera crew watch that movie with me last weekend. It was amazing. It was the first time she saw the movie Predator after all these years.
So much more fulfilled.
And she is so complete now that she saw those skinned GIs in the bush.
Totally not the movie I thought it was.
Yeah, she had no clue. It was amazing. And she loved it. It was her favorite movie. So now her favorite movie. Get to the chopper. Get to the chopper. Don't pay any attention. Don't listen to the housekeeper no matter what she says. I promise. What is that the way it went down? Okay, wait, hold on. What hole do we need? I promise. No. Where?
Rudder.
The rudder's on the outside to the outside. Okay, outside to the outside. All right, here we go. Boom. Right there. Okay, so now this one we're gonna have to come in a little bit because it's tapered on the top. So you want to come into like the main portion and just hold that there. And same thing. I think what's going on is that these things are snapping on at an angle. Okay, so you know, by the time you get down, you're square, but out here it's good. But then once you snap it on, it changes the absolute position.
Just slightly.
It's barely anything, but I think it's enough to make a little bit of a difference. So when I snap this, it seems like it's pretty well lined up, but it's not going to be. I'm just trying to decide which way I need to go. I think I need to go half a way out. See how it's not lined up? Is it gonna be worse? I don't know. Let's just try it. Oh gosh, this one's really hard to snap. So I have to use the tool. Come on. Snap it, snap it. Yes, yes. Oh no, it's favoring that way. I need to go out again.
So opposite of what you were
I need to
saying?
go, no, I just didn't go enough.
Oh.
It wasn't, I didn't get it wrong, I just didn't go enough.
We still have to do forward programming, right?
Don't you worry.
I'm just watching the time.
Oh, you're worried about the video?
Yes.
Well, at least somebody's watching. I need to go out more. I seriously can't remember. I need to go out more.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Okay. And yeah, that feels pretty dang good. Ouch. Okay, show the people at home how nice and lined up that is. If you think that's no feat, just try it yourself. Stick it in the hole on camera for 1,700 or 1,800 videos and you'll understand. Elevator up, elevator down, roll left, roll right, yaw left, yaw right. Take off flaps, landing flaps. Okay, little quick adjustment on flaps. Love the barn doors, okay? I'm gonna go up to reverse. Speed, absolute travel. Let's just do travel on flaps. Whoa. Whoa, those are like all the way down. Okay, I'm gonna go to like 145. And let's see how they look underneath. Make sure we're not binding anything.
Yeah. I don't think you are.
I don't think we are either.
Close.
Not anything enough to hurt it that I can.
You're poking with the...
Who cares?
Okay. I don't care.
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't mind a little poke here and there.
Okay. Well, if you don't care.
Okay, depends on who the pokey is. All right, so here we go. We're just gonna try this again. Let's just gonna try not to fall.
Okay, that'd be good.
Takeoff flaps, way too much for takeoff flaps. So we're gonna correct that now. So all I did was I changed this top setting for the full landing flaps to barn door crazy. Okay, now I'm gonna go down to flap system and I'm gonna set my takeoff flaps, probably something like negative. Like maybe minus 50. That's pretty good. You see how it's just drooped a little bit? So you got takeoff flaps, landing flaps. I don't know, takeoff flaps, let's do like that, okay? So takeoff flaps, landing flaps. And then roll, roll, elevator, elevator, Y'all left, y'all right. Take off flaps, landing flaps, everything's been tested. Very gorgeous, very good. I just noticed that's painted and this is a decal.
Taped.
That's weird. No, it's a decal.
Oh, it is decal.
Yep, it's a decal.
It's different on the other side.
What?
Oh, because the one doesn't hit, like the one hits here, and here you have 15. So it's just the tape, it's just the paint. It just looks different on both sides.
I'm so confused, but that's okay. I'll take your word for it. Okay, so now, what?
Before you get out of flap system, are you doing elevator correction?
Yes, we are.
So don't you forget that.
Let's do 6 and 10. Now, if you don't know which direction it should go on an inboard flap like this, you want this to go down slightly. Oh yeah. And then slightly more even still. Since we're doing such a barn door, we're probably gonna have to do almost even, I bet. Okay, very good. So every time you get done with the surface, verify controls, and now we're ready to do forward programming. So we can walk out of there. Forward programming is easy, no matter what you read on the interweb. Forward programming, connect. Wait for it to do its thing. Gyro settings. First time setup. It's my first time. Like a virgin. Make sure the model has been configured, blah, blah, blah. We already did that. We tested every time. You guys remember? Yeah, we get it. If you change something, you got to redo this, okay? Set the model level and press continue. Continue. Set the model on its nose and press continue. You have to click continue. This model has a reinforced plastic nose. Nose, don't you nose? Look, continue. Boom. Oh yeah. It's upside down, okay? Boom. Now we can go like this, like this, and like this. Okay? Gain channel select. We're gonna now go to gain channel select. Look at all these amazing channels. That's why you need the 10. What are we doing? We're doing whatever channel. Oh, switch. We just need a nice pair of Ds. Oh, it's actually a trifecta of Ds, like Total Recall style. For whatever reason, it's the only menu where you can't just click the thing and then move the switch. And she's going to town talking about something.
Wait, is auxiliary 1 right?
What? Well,
auxiliary 1 is flaps.
You know, that is a good point that you bring up there, camera crew. Let's just go next, and then let's just apply and see what sort of nonsense happens. I see dancing. Dance once means AS reacts. Dance twice means safe. Take off flaps, landing flaps, roll left, roll right, elevator. Okay, so it's rebooted. Let's go and check what the camera crew was concerned about. Oh, we got all sorts of crap going on here. Wow, all that stuff. Boy, and yet no flight pack. Weird. Okay. That would be aux 1. You're totally right.
Of course I am.
But it's not controlling aux 2.
Because it's set to D still. You
Hold
set
on.
it to the
I'm
D
going to teach
switch.
you how to handle some Ds. Well,
Where?
at least part of the time. Channel assign. Yeah. No.
Is it because it's inhibited so you can't select it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just make that D. Now try.
Does that make you feel better?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
I don't think it's gonna matter because it already works. Okay, so this is where we're gonna turn it up and we're gonna change it back down later. Stop it, stop it. You guys noticed a firmware glitch? I may have noticed it. Priority? I don't mess with that crap. Then F mode setup, F and mode. Look at this. Ha! Ha! Yes! You were correct, camera crew. See how it's changing? That's how you know it worked. Way to go, people. Now we're gonna go to first time safe setup. You already know it. Put it in the mode you want safe. Continue. Next. And it's stupid, it makes you do that, but then it doesn't even like change anything. Level model and capture attitude. You have a bad attitude, airplane. You need an attitude adjustment of 2 roll. Okay, take your word for it.
Off. AS3X mode. Off. Safe mode.
Booyah.
Off. AS3X mode.
Watch this, watch this. 1, dos amigos. That means safe is on, or safe is at least on. It's not on, but it might be on. And if it's on, I'll show you how to fix it. Okay, so first things first, throttle cuts on. We know the elevator's up and down, roll left, roll right, yaw left, yaw right, take off flaps, landing flaps, everything's working great. Now let's check our automated, our artificial 3-axis stabilizer. Nothing.
Wow.
Throttle cuts on, and I hear and feel nothing. You wanna know why?
Why?
Because we don't have it right. I'll show you why.
What? What?
I never set the gain. Safe would probably work, but not the AS3X. Forward programming, gyro settings, AS3X settings, gains. Fixed adjustable, I don't know, they're adjustable, but why are they adjusted? How are they adjusted? How do we set that?
Off. Safe mode. AS3X mode.
Where is the AS3X gain? I need to set it to a channel. It's adjustable. I guess it's under system setup. Ha ha, ha ha, ha 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 ha. No, I want it on aux 3. I want it on aux 3. I want it on aux 3. Well, wait, that's not aux 3. Is that aux 3? That's aux 2. No,
I
it's
think
aux
that's
3.
aux 3.
Aux 3. And then safe, roll, and pitch. That's weird. That's pretty cool. I don't know what we could change on there, but evidently you can change something. Now watch this. Watch this. Throttle cuts on. Clear my timer. Elevator up, elevator down. Roll left, roll right. Yaw left, yaw right. Take off flaps, landing flaps. Gain all the way.
There we go.
When I move it this way, it goes that way. Yes, it does. When I move it toward me, it comes toward me. Yes, it does. Elevator, when I move it up, it goes up. When I move it up, it goes up. When I move it down, it goes down. When I roll it up, it rolls up. When I roll it up, it rolls up. Yes, everything's working perfectly. Amazing. Watch this. It's still on. Okay. Oops. Sorry. Okay, so now we gotta go click, scroll down to forward programming. AS3X is now working, but something is not right. Okay.
Safe mode.
With angle demand,
Off.
AS3X is off. Off.
AS3X mode.
On. Off. On. Got it, guys? Oh yeah! Now watch this. Slip no syndrome. And I might be doing this so loud you can't even hear the lady annoyingly say off. Off. On for safe mode, on for AS3X, okay? So now, let's distinguish between safe mode and AS3X. How do you do that, Brian? First of all, there's a trick. Hold your elevator or something like this, and then just go between modes. Oh! That's safe. How do you know it's safe? Because there's less throws on the control surfaces.
AS3X mode. Off.
No change. And limited bank angles. So that's always gonna limit these sticks to a certain extent, unless you undermine that. Also, you can check for the proverbial, I want to get level as soon as possible, is you find the middle and it finds the quickest route to level, or the quickest route to level. Then also, you can look at the elevator. The elevator is pulled all up. Once it comes level, it stops. And then once you go up, it tries to bring you level. Now, as soon as you shut off safe and AS3X, it's like a quiet harmony. And then you turn it back on. Hopefully you guys can hear that. Okay, now that we've established that everything is working, including both the control directions, the contrary output from stabilizer, off for stabilizer, and safe, which also contains AS3X, which I might point out here. In safe, there is also AS3X. And it's also gain adjustable. Okay, very cool, right? So now, why do we want to mess with that further? Just because we can. Let's show the people. Throttle cuts on. We are currently in AS3X. Click, scroll down to forward programming. Once you're connected, you're gonna go to gyro settings, you're gonna go AS3X settings, and you're gonna change this from 4 down to 1. You're not gonna need 4, okay? Now, if you need 4, you need 4 for one reason, and one reason alone. That's a very slow flying plane that needs a lot of output to keep you squared away. Secondly, you can always turn up your gains or turn down your master gain, but you don't want to be so far off that the plane oscillates on takeoff, okay? Yeah. So if that happens, you can plan to take off with no stabilizer, then turn it on once you're to a safe distance. My recommendation is just go to 1 times. You're probably going to need it at 1 times, plus or minus about half the gain on the default settings. Mm-hmm. Now, what do we have on this transmitter that we don't on the NX8?
Extra channels?
Sliders. 2 sliders. You could set your adjustable gain here for the roll axis, and you could set this for your pitch axis, and you could set this for your yaw axis. And then you could set your gains, and then you could go into the menu, you could say fixed. And guess what? It's done. You never have to mess with it again. And then you could assign that channel to something else. That is why the NX10 is so handy on a 6-channel application with AS3X and safe. But again, keep in mind, and part of the reason we beat these guys up is because we know you're thinking the same thing we are. Why doesn't this have a reflex in it? I don't know. Maybe the one you buy will. And if that's the case, you don't need to do any of the forward programming. You'll just get an AR620. It's considerably cheaper, or a Lemon RX 6-channel. Plop that thing in there. Use the stabilizer that comes with it. And if you don't have enough channels because of the retracts, you just pick any channel, probably the retracts or something like that. Set the gyro to the setting you want, and then unplug it from that, plug your gear back in, and it will hold the setting even after a power cycle. We've tested it and shown it in numerous videos. Should be no question on how to do it by now. But if it still is, you just watch one of those videos.
And
think of one that we've done recently.
But if they want to have control over the stabilizer on-off, then you have to go up to an 80-20.
80-20T. Yep. 80-20T would give you the stabilizer control channel, as well as you could split off your nose wheel, or you could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 retracts, 8. Well, it's not gain channel. It'd be on or off. Stabilizer on off.
Yeah, but if you wanted safe still, yeah. Or you know.
But the 80-20T would be cool because you could set up. I would always run my flaps together. So if anything I was gonna do, I would do flap runs on this. And then what you can also do that's really cool on this, and most people don't do it because it's not necessary, is you could do a Televon configuration. Televon plus flaperons become crow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lock your stabilizer on. But again, if you're going to that channel configuration, you're not going to have crow because you're doing it through a reflex.
Right, that's true.
So truth is, if you're going up to an 8-channel configuration, you're going up to an 8-channel configuration, which is an 8360T, and then you're gonna have a voltage telemetry via the cable right here. You're gonna tap the cable, it's gonna go back to your receiver. You will have pack voltage. You will also have the Vario if you want it, so you can have that boop, 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 beep, beep, beep. You can also have the full length wing configuration where you have full length ailerons and or crow and that gets really complicated, by the way, even with the 8360T, it shouldn't be, but it is. Or you could, more importantly, share the channel on here. You end up with one aileron, one pair of flaps, another aileron. So that'd be a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for the retracts. Steerable ties to the rudder. So that'd be 8 would give you your on off. And then your gains get preset to 50% and then you adjust them after you land, which would be sweet. Or you go up to a 10. You can do a 10 channel and you can do all that stuff and master gains like we just did. But guys, I'm a realist. I'm not blowing that kind of cash on this plane. Maybe on a turbine that's 3 times the size of this, but not this plane, okay? It's a great plane, but it's not worth a $300 receiver in my opinion.
Right.
Not that that would be $300. I don't think it's quite that bad. Might be like 200 bucks though. They're expensive. So anyway, NX10 opening doors already. Also the IX line is amazing, but I still think if you are new to the hobby and you're asking me, hey Brian, money's not the main thing. I just want to get something good that I'm not going to have to rebuy. Start with the 10 if you want. You can start with the 8. You'll get a long ways with it. We went like over 145, 150 planes before we started running out of channels. We had 3 that we had run out of channels.
Yep.
And it was because we did weird wing types, okay? And we lost like what, master gain?
Yeah.
We didn't lose like steerable nose wheel or something like really important. So at the end of the day, we bring you guys to the no BS truth. We gripe about the things you're gonna gripe about, but only because we want you to understand that even though we have 2 gripes on this plane, the folded manual, who cares? Secondly, it's annoying to have to install those control arms, linkages, but at the end of the day, it wasn't that big a deal. It's just annoying. I feel like that should be done at the factory, and I will gripe on any manufacturer that does things like that. It's just a minor annoyance. Once you get that thing put together, if you have to take this plane apart to transport it, which I doubt you do, then, you know, it's built once and then you just have to take it off, put it on. Yeah. By the way, if you do have to take a plane apart that's like this, good luck, because you saw all that cable on there, it's gonna be a mess.
It's gonna be terrible.
So you're gonna have to, it is not a quick release wing in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so I suggest if you transport this plane and you have to take it apart, you probably have a very small automobile. So what I might suggest is retract your landing gear, get yourself a bean bag, put this on the floor, and then put some sort of a larger plane, like say you got the twin timber or something like that, you can put that across it like this, and then I would stack another bean bag and then stack another plane and bean bag, another plane, and so on and so forth. I love bean bags because they're modular, they're quick, and when you get to the flying field, you can pick them out of the back of the truck or car and throw them on the ground, lay your plane down, and you'll get less hanger rash. And I know you guys don't understand this because you're not here physically in person and it's hard to see this on camera, but I am very particular about my planes. I don't have a ton of hanger rash on them until I've crashed them. Once I've crashed them, it's like anything else. But I've had people that meet me in person and they're like, I can't believe how well you've kept these things. I'm really picky with my planes. I don't want them beat up. So it drives me nuts when I get little dings and stuff. Even though I fix them with my stinky, what's it called?
I bought you new spackle.
You bought me new spackle?
I did.
But how's it supposed to stink? We'll have to put some water in there and let it get rotten.
In 15 years, it'll stink just like the other stuff.
Oh, you're always taking over these wonderful issues I create for myself. So guys, if you haven't already flown it, you might want to think about it. This thing is amazing. It's going to look gorgeous flying through the air by yours truly. And we'll help you get it set up by making videos just like this in long format so that you don't have to see somebody in shorts being like, wow, look, a retracts, amazing. Never seen that before. Wow, yeah, retracts. Because at the end of the day, retracts, we've all seen them. If you've been watching this channel and you haven't seen them, you're new to this channel. And this would not be a good plane for you right off the cuff. But if you're on your 3rd or 4th plane, there's no reason you can't fly this thing. Just keep in mind, take the time, spend the money, set up safe, set up AS3X, don't cut corners, don't pretend to be something you're not, don't let people bully you into flying without stabilizer, don't let people make fun of you for flying with safe. There is nothing wrong with flying with every possible flight aid. Look at real planes. They use everything like MCATs. So if you guys are, but seriously, if you're brand new to the hobby, don't let anybody bully you into using anything less than what you are comfortable flying, and it will take you a while. Even if you're a good pilot, you're gonna be flying with safe for a little bit, and that's totally fine. If you're a freak of nature and you don't need safe, and you're a brand new pilot, congratulations, you're amazing. But for the rest of us humans, safe is really handy, and it is a huge benefit. Do not buy the cheapest stuff you can get, and if you can't afford a transmitter that's gonna do it, then just wait longer until you can, or get a cheaper plane and get what you need to get the job done. Because I'm telling you this, you will never look back and think, I wish I would have got a crappier transmitter. You will, however, and I am promising you this, you will wish you bought a better transmitter at some point. The longer you can push that into tomorrow, the more money you're gonna have in your pocket, which will promptly be spent on planes. This is true. Let me know in the comments below if I've proven that to you over the years. And I'm sure some of you guys are gonna come up and say that. So anyway, Viper, 15th anniversary. Congratulations, FMS, on 15 years of pure bliss and never having a problem with any linkages ever. That's what they told us to say. But this thing does look sweet, guys. And hopefully FMS likes our review of this thing, even though we griped and complained about a few minor details, because really at the end of the day, this is gonna be a sweet plane. And when they get this good, you gotta gripe about something, because otherwise you guys won't believe me. And let's just, for the record, show how well this thing blows.
Oh, okay.
Can we do that on camera?
Sure.
Yes, we can. We're gonna do it right now. Okay. Here goes, throttle cuts off. Okay, that has some power.
That sounds really good.
I am super excited, and that thing blows really good. So can't wait to get it outside, but it's a little wet for my taste out there. So we might need to wait for things to dry out a little bit and possibly not be quite so windy and terrible. It's also, this thing, the gray is probably not gonna show up great with a cloudy sky.
Sunny day.
But it's spring. And we are excited here on Brian Phillips RC. And you wanna know why? Do you wanna know why? Because we have so much content that we can't squeeze it in to save our lives. We're trying our best, desperately. Please help us. Smash the like button, click the bell for notifications. If you haven't already subscribed, do that, obviously. And above all, if you really wanna help support Brian Phillips RC, buy these planes, but from the links. It really literally does us almost no good if you buy it from not following the links, just so you guys know. And if you feel remorse for having not bought through the links and you're like, I really wish I would have done that, I feel bad now, don't feel bad, just do it next time. And then in the meantime, if you wanna help support us in other ways, we have PayPal and Patreon, which are linked just below the plane, receiver, and battery pack used. Now keep in mind, we are gonna try it on 5,000, right? 5,000, or was it 4,000?
Well, 4,000 with a CG, got your CG back.
4,000. We're gonna do 4000 6S, but as you know, we will link to the battery choices. So if there's multiple choices, we'll link to multiple batteries. They should be side by side. And if you see a link that says BPRC me, that's ours. So don't worry, it's not fake, it's real, and we own the domain, so it should be a safe link to follow, and that link will help to establish whether or not we're getting credit. If you do have questions or something weird happens in your transaction, let us know. We can check into it, and we do have links or contacts at most of the affiliates where we can just hit them up and say, hey, something weird happened. We'll check it out. It's no big deal. They're usually not bothered by it, and it's very easy. But we generally trust all the companies we work with, and here's why. Because if we didn't trust them, guess what? We would have crinkled them up like this and thrown them into the garbage. And you may not be aware of this, but we've had a few of them that we've done that to. And I'm not talking about Dynam, by the way. Dynam tries hard, they just suck. Sorry, I said that out loud. I'm talking about people that have straight up ripped us off, and people that have straight up ripped you guys off, and straight up we've dumped them. Because we don't work with people that rip you off, and we sure as heck don't work with people that rip us off. So if you're one of those people, screw yourself. And I know you know who you are. And if you're not that person, we love you. Thanks for being here with us. And we hope that you'll be flying your amazing Viper jet in no time. So check it out. down below. It's gonna be amazing. And thanks for watching, guys. So much more from Brian Phillips RC right around the corner.